Blam.
Hello and welcome back.
Oh, this isn't the right one. Ah!
Welcome back.
Hang on.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Yay?
No.
No.
Okay.
Look, it's been a while.
We're good now. We're good now. Wrong one.
Are we?
No.
What do you mean? It
Like
taken
emotionally?
a minute to load. That's not my fault. The scene was taking a bit on my screen. I have Natalie showing up right now, and Eminence was just on. So we good.
Yes.
So we're good?
Yeah.
Hi, welcome back everybody. To us and to you, because it's been a long time since we played. My name is D. I am the Dungeon Master for the Chocolatiers. And oh my god, it's been so long. Oh, it's been a while. But it's good. We're back. We're ready to play Dungeons & Dragons and talk about ridiculous things and talk about chocolate way more than I think is expected of a conventional D&D campaign. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get through some introductions, and then we will hop back into the Chocolatiers. First up, Aery.
Oh yeah, shit, I'm first now. Hi, I'm Jimmy Ocat. I play Aery. He is a elf sorcerer disaster boy. And I am a human disaster boy, and I'm also an artist. I hope you like the new overlay, because I did it today.
It looks pretty. I like the D20s. They're all gold and shiny.
Yeah, they're shiny.
Excellent. Oriana.
Hi, I am Mel. I play Oriana, and I do not like the new overlay because I am not on the same line as my sister character. We should fix that.
Oh, that was you were supposed to be. That's my bad.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm mostly just because I just noticed it then when you were like, I hope you like new overlay, and I'm like, I'm gonna look at it. Look at those little dice. Oh, they're so hey.
I fucked up.
We have been. It's a family divide. Anyway, I really do like the new overlays. I'm really happy to be back. I'm sorry if I shit talk too much. I'm very excited.
I love me some shit talk. There will be plenty of opportunities for shit talk over the course of this game. The sister, Eminence.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I play Eminence, and yeah, what did I used to say all those years ago? Eminence is another disaster girl, a warlock, a tiefling, and I think the fact that she is not on the same line as her sister at the moment is quite appropriate, actually, with where they're at in their relationship. That's pretty much it.
And Natalie.
Hi, I'm BurrowsRed. I play Natalie. I am also Eminence's sister today. I will hear no arguments. I exist on the internet as a streamer and also content creator. I do lots of stuff that involve taking notes in D&D, and for that, I have to have really good notes, so it's a lot of pressure. Please be nice to me. Thank you.
Did you find your pen?
I found a pen.
That is a large pen. That's
It's
chunky
actually
pen.
a texter. I don't know why I like taking my notes in texter. I don't know why that is. I don't know. It just makes me feel good.
Big pens, big weapons in D&D. Sensing a theme.
Yeah.
It's
Big
like a
muscles,
Aryan
big
pen for the
everything.
small one.
Hell yeah. It's actually a regular sized pen. I just have huge hands.
Tiny hands.
Oh, tiny hands. That's what.
Enormous hands.
No, see, that's what you don't understand. The hands are so big, and the pen is still so big. Like, you don't understand how
It's a
big this
really
pen is.
big pen. The pen is the size of like an infant's forearm. It's just. To those of you who are regulars to the show, you will notice that we do have a player missing. Aliciera, aka Bryn, has stepped away from this game. We miss her and wish her the best. But in the meanwhile, the game will continue, and we will pick up roughly where we left off, which was Eminence was on a date. She was sitting across a table in a nice little courtyard from Silence, having a conversation. Just learned about his cat and his upbringing a little bit far to the north of Andapolis before looking over to the entrance of the restaurant and seeing Silence standing at the front with a small bouquet of flowers, very, very similar outfit, looking about sort of expectantly. And Eminence, you feel that momentary drop of realization. It feels like the ground just kind of buckles away from underneath you as like you take a second to sort of catch yourself as his eyes turn and scan through the room and meet yours at the same time, and you see a brief expression of surprise flit across his face. And then he turns and looks across the table and sees himself. To which the Silence across from the table, across from you, seems to have noticed your momentary distraction and says, Eminence, is everything? And glances over and sees himself, who turns and makes eye contact. And there's that beautiful moment of everyone just looking at each other, not saying anything, before the waitress walks up to the front and she begins to speak to him at the entrance to the restaurant. And very quickly, he just kind of brushes her off and walks right over to the table. And you can see the momentary confusion as the waitress realizes, wait a sec, Silence is at the table, but also going to the table. And a moment later, he's there, standing next to the two-person table, some glasses of water already present. You can see sort of that nice little flower coming out of the vase in the middle. Just of all of the things to focus on in this moment, that's what catches your attention as Silence looks at the two of you. Well, I really thought I was early, but I guess I got a bit confused on the time, and puts the flowers on the table, to which the other Silence stands up slowly and looks over. You're Shazarash? And the new Silence looks over. I'm Shazarash. Looks at you, Eminence, and then back at the other. And then looks back to you. We could get mired and mucked up in all of this. Who do you think is Shazarash, Eminence? To which the one across from the table says, well, hold on. This is not how this is supposed to go. At this point, the waitress has walked over with a third chair and has brought it up to the table and looks kind of confused. Says, shall I get a... And to which Silence says, yes, another water, please. And she kind of nods and heads back out. The two of them look back to you.
Well, first of all, I think when the Silence that had been seated goes, like when he starts to stand up, that is when she starts to kind of tense and also push back her chair like she's about to stand up.
Yeah.
And when the two of them finally stop like eyeing each other off, I'll just say, I think we should all sit down and just wait for them to be seated.
They look at you. The one that has been there says, yes, I think that's a good idea. And he cautiously sits down. The new one looks over and seems to appraise him for a moment and really just kind of take him in. Takes a deep breath. This is unexpected, to say the least.
You don't say.
looks up and looks the other silence in the face, to which the other silence looks up. And then so if okay, where did you go to school? And the one that's been there at the table looks over. Is this a joke? Are you trying to test me on my life? Andapolis. Okay. To which the one across the table. What's the name of our pet? The one across. Harry. Looks over. They look back over at you for a moment and then back over. They both take a breath, at which point the waitress comes over and sets down a third glass, to which the new silence says, I'll have what I'm having. I'll have what I'm having. The waitress pulls out a little notepad, takes a note, and heads off.
Eminence is sitting exactly like this. So
They turn and look at you. Same posture. You can still see that sort of stoic demeanor and how they present themselves, but there is an openness there, a willingness to talk.
can I kind of really look at what they're wearing, how their hair is styled, like just the general, like, because I only saw Silence, who I would assume is the real Silence, earlier that same day.
Yeah.
Can I tell if there's anything off about one of them?
Absolutely. So you are looking for clues and making deductions. Make an investigation check.
He is a 13 plus 2, 15.
15. Okay. So the silence that you have been with, firstly, of the two of them, neither of them are wearing the same outfit that you saw earlier in the morning. Um, they're both wearing something a little different. The one sitting across from you who arrived first, he's wearing sort of this like a double-breasted jacket that is tailored, fits very well. He's got like an ascot at the chest that's just very open, this sort of deep crimson. Um, he Yeah. The other one across from you is wearing a single button jacket that is open, and he's sort of got a button up underneath, but he doesn't have anything at the neck. It's actually open to buttons. With a 15, both of the clothing is tailored to fit the individual. I would say with a 15, it could be both. I mean, you haven't seen Silence without his clothes, so you wouldn't know what he looks like externally, but the clothing is well fitted on the two of them. As far as like hair, the hairstyles are the same. Nothing stands out. Same eye color, same everything.
And from what we've seen of Shazarash before, when he's changed form, he's kept the same clothes on, hasn't he? Like, he changes himself, not things that are,
Yes.
like, attached to him.
That's
Okay.
that's what you saw in the alley. I think it was earlier that morning, where he had like a jacket that he could turn inside out into a different jacket.
Right. Well, I don't know what to say.
The two silences look at each other and then back at you.
And I doubt either of you were going to say much.
The silence across from you takes a deep breath and... Well... I think I understand why our friends find you so grating. To which the recent silence looks over and... I'm sorry. To which the silence across the table... I don't quite understand what it is you're doing here. I must assume you have some sort of reason, but this is not the way to go about making friends. To which the silence across the table says, well, I'm not the one being impersonated in the middle of an intimate afternoon lunch with Eminence. If anyone knows what it's like to be grating, it would be you. Look, as much as I would love to put your skills to the test for the benefit of everyone, this is not the way to do a proper introduction. And the silence across the table. Mimicry is the sincerest form of flattery, both in content and appearance. Not only did you repeat what I said with different words and intent, but you also repeated the pattern. Give me something new. Come on, challenge me. To which the silence across the table says, challenge you? Why do I need to challenge you? You're the one who's trying to play these base psychological mind games. And you can see that the two of them are starting to get each other riled up a little bit. And this is probably the first time that you've seen silence get animated. Well, both silences get animated.
Mm-hmm.
Looks over. Eminence, this is... I had wanted this to be some time for us to get to know each other, but with our more recent guest, it seems I must put our affairs on hold. To which the other says, frankly, our affairs haven't even begun. With all due respect, a business meeting cannot be convened until the required parties are present, which is me now. To which the other just... They just keep spinning their wheels on each other.
Actually, I think this is the perfect opportunity to get to know you both.
They
But
both stop and look at you.
I'd rather not do that here. Now, whichever of you is the real silence, I am assuming you don't want the other running around with your face and your influence
At
freely.
which point, both of them at the same time say, well, what am I going to do? And then they look at each other.
I say we all go back to the castle, to our friends. We talk about this there.
They turn and look over at each other. The one across from you. It is a good idea, but I am loath to at which point the recent one says, all right, fine. And kicks back, and the chair kind of leans out a little bit, immediately taking a different posture. Fine. Clever. Bringing more people in, it's a good idea. But here we are. To which the other silence says, oh, so what, that's it? And the silence sort of leaning back. Yeah, really, I was just kind of hoping to do it for a laugh, but it really kind of got serious. You are very touchy with this. I think he really likes you. It's tough to say. I mean, we could take a look around in that old noggin of his and kind of squints and narrows his eyes, at which now clearly silence looks back in alarm and back over at you, leans back forward again. He can read minds, if I remember correctly, to which now ostensibly Shazarash says, "Yes, come on."
All right, stop. Just. What exactly were you hoping to gain from this, other than amusement?
Yeah. Honestly, I thought it would be funny if I could just crash the lunch and catch in and see how things were going. Because you and the rest of your friends have my disc. But other than that, I was just here for a lark on a whim. Happened to be in the neighborhood, walking by, and I thought, I did check her mind this morning, and she did have that date. Make an insight check for me.
Because my thoughts immediately are, how much did he know about the date, the plans? So what kind of check again?
Insight, please.
Yeah. That's not a good roll. That's 1, 4.
4. Oof. Yeah, with a 4, you're still a bit shaken by the two of them, and the moment you're more shaken by the realization that when it came down to it, you couldn't tell. And that after conversation, it took Shazarash to reveal himself to really put 2 and 2 together. It's unnerving. But at which point Silence says, "No, I think Eminence is right. You came here." It kind of reaches over and touches the jacket, pulls it aside, to which Shazarash kind of recoils and, "Hey, this is nice stuff." And Silence.
It is nice stuff. Fits you
From
perfectly.
what I have been told of your interaction this morning, you like to wear clothes that have multiple functions for seamlessly blending into different situations. This looks unique, deliberate. Why are you here? And Shazarash, like I said, I was in the area, and that's it. That's all. Silence narrows his eyes, and you can recognize, like, this is Silence slowly entering back into business mode.
I'll address this to the actual Silence sitting across from me.
Mhm.
Do you own these? Like this specific outfit? Is this something he's copied?
Silence looks over. Wait, actually, and quickly leans forward to which Shazarash kind of, hey, again with the grabbing, kind of pulls out a little bit. No, this is a nice facsimile. I have a stain on the right lapel, but that is a very impressive recreation of one of my dinner jackets.
So I don't believe
Unnervingly
he's
so.
capable of doing that, which means he's had these made, which makes me think that you, and I'll address it to Shazarash now, have been Silence before.
It's good to have a wealth of, and at which point Silence just cuts him off and says, "You've used my face before."
He does that. Charming, isn't it?
Your reticence is making a lot more sense now. Perhaps we should return back towards the keep and have a conversation with some more interesting individuals. And Shazarash, I don't think we need that at all. I don't think we need. I can tell you the number of times that I've used your face, and it was twice, 3 times. I don't know if we should count the 4th because it was dark and nobody could really see. And silence. Lit. Thank you for coming to meet us in person to have this conversation. We are interested in employing you on behalf of the crown of Valater, to which Shazrash immediately, nah. We think that you could be of great benefit to the people with your skill set. We also think that you could be a very large liability within the city. So it's not so much a choice as an ultimatum. To which Shazrath says, I've heard this speech before. What do you got? Hit me with what you've got. And silence. We have the town guard. We can attempt to capture you, which I imagine will be difficult but not impossible. We can keep you in solitary. We can exile you from within the city. And I think we can put El Romeor on the task of finding permanent marking to all of your disguises, removing your ability to hide yourself. I'm sure disfiguring your physical form would be difficult, but some sort of magical enchantment to ensure everyone knows who you are. And Shazarash looks over. I will say, the last one, the enchantment thing, that's new. I haven't heard that one before. But the whole death speech, capture, exile, imprisonment, it's not the first time I've heard that. Yeah, a few pointers. Really try to get that evil hatred in your conversation. And Silence just kind of rolls his eyes. Shazarash looks over. Well, if that's all you've got, then well, I thought I had a lunch appointment, but I guess I don't. So, have a wonderful afternoon. And he stands up, at which point the waitress starts walking over with plates of food. But please.
As soon as he stands up, I would like to cast blindness on him.
Okay. Is that a con save?
It is.
Oh boy. Alrighty. What is your DC?
14.
14. You see that he stands up and looks over. The waitress is coming over with 3 plates of food, 2 of which are identical, and kind of starts to reach out his hand for it. And she seems to react and hold out the tray. And right as his hand goes out, he just hand flat on the tray. The whole thing flips over. The 2 plates of like duck just go sailing through the air. The third just crashes down onto the ground next to you. The waitress is completely aghast as Shazarash kind of knocks her over and turns and looks over at the rest of you. And you can see that his eyes are like sort of clouded and glazed. And it's more of just like a general face expression as he looks over. I meant to do that. If you will excuse me. And he turns and begins walking and makes it 3 steps before walking into a table and, excuse me, having some difficulty. Goes to the side. The couple kind of stands up a little bit. He starts walking, crashes into another. The silence at your table stands up and this is... He actually takes a moment to have a good hearty chuckle as he watches Shazarash ping-pong between the tables. This is not a good look. And quickly rushes over and puts his hands on the shoulder of Shazarash, who kind of tenses up and, yes, I do seem to have lost my way. Thank you very much. And without saying anything, Silence turns around and steers him back to the table. And finally takes his hand and puts it on the chair. Says, sit. To which Shazarash genuinely looks a little bit surprised. Still blind, so he kind of feels down with his hand for the chair and sits. And Silence sits as well. Looks over to the waitress. I apologize. This is a new spell that we've been working on. Please, I will absolutely pay for any of the damages if you would be so kind as to prepare the rest of the lunches. And then turns and regards Shazarash. Why am I sitting again? And Silence looks over. What do you want, Shazarash? And Shazarash, still completely blind. I would like to see, for one. Yes. I recognize that you are intelligent. I recognize that you are quick and you use it as a form of deflection. Why are you here? Well, I would like to get some food and I was hoping to have a good time with some friends. No. Why are you in Valetair? And Shazarash kind of blinks. And you see the spell end. You see his eyes, the magical effect end. And though his vision returns, his eyes continue to remain unfocused, as if he's sort of thinking about something. And then he turns and makes eye contact with you and looks at Silence. I have been the servant of a larger organization before. I have no interest in doing it again. That's why I'm here in Valetair. In Silence digests it. What if we could give you better employ, more gainful? What if we didn't use you, I should say, but if we worked together as equals? And Shazarash, I've heard that before. I should go. And he stands up again, this time with a much faster deliberation. Silence. Been a pleasure. Love the jacket, by the way. Looks over. Eminence. Always a joy. And sort of does like a half bow and then turns and swiftly begins to directly walk away this time.
Look at Silence, just kind of that not actually asking, but like just a look at my face, like, are we really gonna let him go?
Silence looks over and
Fine. I'll just wait for him to leave.
yeah. And Shazarash walks out into the street and leaves.
Do you really think that kind of strategy is going to work on him?
I don't think he sees us as people. So I don't think he sees himself as a person. So I thought maybe to try something different. at the very least, I know one of his aliases, and we do also have our plan for later this evening, not to mention his disc, which he asked about not once, but twice during the conversation just now. We have
Obviously
multiple
important to him.
ways.
I take it you noticed the turn of phrase he used, not employee, not employee, but servant. He's been in service to others before. I think you're right. I think he sees us very differently, but I don't know if I can change that.
Me either. But very clearly threatening him seemed to entertain him. What else am I going to do?
Surely it bothers you that he's been you before. He's used your face. I mean, not just on a personal level, but you are.
Oh, furious.
You have influence in this city.
I have heard stories and been approached by several more than attractive individuals asking for a repeat, but that is not the game that I play. And I have spent a long time trying to understand that, however. I also find myself asking why. Why did he come here? Why did he give up so easily? I don't have answers. I would like to. And I think he's the one who can give them to us. But that's...
I think you're going to be waiting for a while.
It's possible. Still, that's business, and we are... And he looks over at the empty chair, and you just see like the briefest shadow of like annoyance across his face. We are not here for business. We are here for us.
And what made me think he wasn't you? Before he told us, of course. He smiled too much.
You see Silence trying to fight back a smile, but just losing as this big grin covers his face. Well, I have to uphold a reputation. I've told you that.
And I may have to change my impressions.
It is good to have company who can make you smile. And that is where we will let your lunch continue and resolve. For the rest of you, the remaining three of you back at the central keep of VaguelyIllogical. Is there anything that you had wanted to do? If I remember right, in the evening you had plans to set up a meeting at the Golden Tankard with Shazarash because you had his humming disc. But in the meanwhile, I believe there was some planning that needed to be done, and anything else that you wanted to get accomplished to be done.
I mean, currently we just needed to we needed to find out how we were going, like what we were gonna do with him, but that was gonna, I don't know,
I
man.
was on team murder.
Yeah, there's also that too.
We were 90% of the way to just killing this man.
I think the only person who didn't want to kill him was Natalie.
I don't know that I was ever necessarily against it. It was more just like, I don't know, what's his deal? I don't know. I mean, but like,
so that's the three of you sitting on couches, the two of you being like, we should just kill him, and Natalie being like, I don't know.
But the whole time that she's saying that, she's like flipping a hand axe up and down, like sitting back on a chair, like just like, I don't know, you know? I'm just really not sure.
Niladri is there as well. She's probably in one of the chairs with the rest of you. What makes him so worth killing? Not that I'm opposed to it, I just... Why?
Well, you can't trust a single thing he says, ever. There's just no way to ever believe he's telling the truth.
He's also really annoying.
He's so annoying.
Is being annoying a crime, though?
Maybe
Yes.
it should be.
I mean, but also, we have to consider the security risks too. There's a person running around that can be literally anyone and read anyone's thoughts and anyone's ideas before they've even put them down. Like, aside from the
he
fact
could
that he's
be-
annoying.
He could be impersonating you, and if he met you, like, I don't know how good his skill in reading minds is, but like, he could read your mind and know what you would say to people and be really good at pretending to be you. He could get into the king if someone hired him to kill him. No one would say no to you visiting him. It's just like, there's too many options. Like, he cannot be trusted.
At which point, El Romeor walks in with his stack of documents and tosses them down onto the table. Yes, but we must consider why we are only hearing of him now, at this time. And we also have to try to... If he has this big dangerous potential, what has he been doing? There's no criminal mastermind ring in the city of Chocolatiers. There's nothing... You're right. There is a lot of potential for things to go bad. Things haven't.
But
As
I mean,
far as you know.
is that really an
Yes,
effective
it could be a
method
good
of
thing.
governing to just be like, everything's fine now? Guess we don't have to worry about threats.
Well, I'm not saying ignore him, but yeah, it is difficult for me to try to wrap my head around it. Why is he here? What is he doing? What? And
What's his
ultimately,
endgame?
yes, we also have to consider what can we actually condemn him for? What crimes do we have evidence of him committing such that he can go through the judicial system as any citizen should?
Surely impersonating people is like some sort of fraud.
Certainly fraudulent activity is bad, but that is not any degree worse of murder.
Oh, you haven't met him yet. You're really going to want to kill him. You'll understand. I understand now. Like, without knowing him, it could be hard to be like, oh, we should just kill this guy. But yeah, once you speak to him, you'll know. You'll get it. It's just the worst.
I will take your word for it. Especially if he can read minds and replace people so thoroughly. I imagine that could be annoying because he could know exactly the ways to get on your nerves by literally reading your minds. But if he could read your mind so precisely, why does he just annoy you?
I think he just likes it.
Is that so bad as compared to him reading your mind so precisely and starting some grand master conspiracy plan to overthrow all of democracy?
We don't know that he's not already doing that as well. We just know for sure that he's really fucking annoying.
That actually is a very good point. He could
to
be
keep
doing that.
in mind as well, what is the alternative? We let him go or we kill him? Like, there is no way if he's incarcerated that he will in any way, shape or form talk. Even if
There
he's
are
put to
plans
trial,
put him into
he
custody,
won't talk.
Yes. We plan on putting him in custody, and we do have several clerics on standby within the keep who are capable of casting Zone of Truth. So at
Can
the very
you-
least, we can.
I feel like the ideal cell for him would be like if you built a room and then you just bricked over the door and just left him in there.
What is it? The cask of Amontillado or whatever? Just be like, here, come down here. We got some good wine. And then just be like, get fucked.
Yeah, just let him die in there. But like passively, you know? You're not killing him. You're just not stopping him from dying in a room alone.
I mean, I am curious. I have read tomes about doppelgangers, and they are fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. It is surprising that this one seems to have so much personality. From what I have read and seen, doppelgangers are usually apathetic and distant and,
I mean,
pardon the stereotype, alien.
he seems pretty
Regrettably, he is none
apathetic.
of those things. He is pathetic, but that's it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll find out later tonight when we get the chance to speak with him. By the way, what are we doing? How are we going to capture him?
Oh, he's easy to capture. He sucks.
He also wants his disc back.
Yes, that is true.
Oh, can we use this for anything? Can we like see what its purpose is in the meantime?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have that, and I was going to, I think, detect magic on it or something. I just can't remember which skill it was going to be because it was a really long time ago.
Yes.
Like
So
identify?
the humming disc. It is a small magical disc that is. It has a sort of resonant magical frequency with other similar discs. Sort of like as a message was a sending spell. However, it can only go to identical discs. So you have it. We could try to activate it and see whom we speak to, but there is no way of knowing. Only someone with an identical disc can receive the same frequency. Sort of like a magical walkie-talkie.
Right, so we just picked up someone else's phone and we're like, who owns this?
But
Like
it
one of
can only
the crank calls where it's just like, hello, 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 and then they hang up.
Yep.
I mean, maybe
yes.
we should call them just to find out who it is.
I'm certainly curious, and Niladri's like, do it.
Yeah, I'm really not above fucking with this guy's stuff, so.
Anyone
We
feel
should
like they
pretend
have
to
the
be
least?
him and say something really embarrassing.
I will say it could be, and I know what you're going to say, it could be an invasion of privacy, and you're going to say it could be justice for him because he likes to invade other people's privacies by imitating them. So it could be justice. I just want you to know that this is not officially endorsed by the government of Valitaire.
Fine
Niladri
with
says
that.
it.
Seems to be officially endorsed by Niladri.
She is not representative of the views of our institution. But in any case, I am. And you see he reaches behind him, pulls out this big old roll of parchment, and pulls out a quill. I am ready to document the encounter. Isove.
I'm pretty sure Oriana had the disc, so she'll pull it out of her pocket and she's going to offer it to Aery because Aery, he has been Aery.
Oh no,
So maybe
I
that
don't
voice
want to
wouldn't
be
seem
him.
so weird.
Do we know what he actually sounds like regularly?
Is there a voice that he goes back to?
I feel like he'd sound closer to Niladri or Romeo somehow.
Yeah, you know
Niladri
that.
kind of cocks her head and looks at you. El Romeo. Really? He has an accent.
Oh, that's just something slightly similar in your voices. I don't know how to explain it.
It's like a certain element that's very...
It's just familiar, you know?
I'm just talking shit.
Yeah, keep talking shit about the DM's voices. Like, come on.
No, because
Well,
you're
private.
literally the same person. You.
I know. I
Um,
can't get defensive about myself when I'm playing 4 different people in the same room.
I think, it's gonna be best if it comes from any of us. We aren't exactly recognizable, even if we can't pass off for him, but I don't know. I don't feel like I'll be that good
sounds
at
like
it.
volunteering, and I'm gonna chuck the coin.
Wait, no, I have an idea. What if we wait until we meet with him and then we do it in front of him and then he gets to experience the embarrassment firsthand?
Oh, like we prank call, but
Yeah.
directly in front of him. Oh.
Yeah.
Let me just practice my voice, though. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Does that sound any good?
Is that what he sounds like? I'm not sure.
I mean, we only met him for a short time, and I kind of zoned out when there was the whole, like, I read your mind and stuff.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like when I remember speaking to him, my brain is just like buzzing the whole time.
Yes, exactly. And then, at least if we do it when we're there, we'll have the direct person to compare our voice to.
Yeah, I think we should wait until he's there.
Do we know if this is like a loudspeaker, or if it's whoever's holding it is the only voice that comes through? Because if we're doing this at like a dinner table, and he's just like, "Hey, fuck off, that's not me," is it gonna ruin this entire plan?
It captures nearby sound, so one person can hold the disc, and 3 people around it can all speak into it.
Okay, so if we do this at dinner, we gag him. Or we cut
should
out his
do that
tongue.
We could do that anyway, yeah.
We should do that anyway.
Sorry, that's not
Yeah, so
Natalie
if
We
we
speaking.
make that permanent.
Yeah, if we were to cut out his tongue, when he changed forms, would he get it back? Or would he still just not be able to talk?
As far as I understand the anatomy, they have a capability to do minor regeneration, but for more extreme changes like a broken bone or large lacerations or even perhaps illnesses, it is very difficult for them to recover. As I understand, each physical change requires an amount of effort and energy, and in order to enact larger changes, it is very, very difficult. There are stories of doppelgangers healing themselves over time, but simply put, if you remove mass from the object, it requires additional mass to grow that back.
So tearing out his tongue, actually a decent option,
Yeah.
is what I'm hearing here.
And also, what I got from that is that we could break all of his bones.
Maybe let's
should
not
break all of his bones.
unnecessarily...
Those are not the official views of the institution of Valater.
Let's not
And I'm okay with that.
unnecessarily cause harm. All for
Why?
a bruised arm or a bruised eye, but I feel like breaking bones kind of crosses a line.
How many lines does he have to cross before we are allowed to cross some lines?
I mean, it's not the same thing. It's not he does one bad thing and we do one bad thing.
It could be. And he has done a few bad things, so I'm counting.
It really is quite the ethical dilemma. I am very much enjoying this. I just want all of you to know.
I am not feeling a dilemma at all.
Okay, well, we know that the meeting place is going to be the Golden Tankard. Now, because it has been 2.5 months, I don't remember shit. How were we convincing him to get there? Does anyone remember?
He was just going to come as like a show of good faith. He gave you the disc and told you that it was important to him, and said, "I can pick it up another time." Yeah. And then you guys said, "Sure, come get it. Golden Tankard, dinner time." And he was like, "Great,
easy." Maybe we should.
Oh, and that was
let-
also because you were taking that visionist to the meeting with the king, and you didn't have the time to like take him as well for some reason. I don't remember the details.
I don't think I just generally don't think we had hands because we had Marcus, who we were handing over to the guards, and he was just like,
oh, and the
"We're
guards
gonna
took
scoot,"
you. Yeah. That
and
was
we were
fun.
like, "Nah, we don't have hands for this." So,
Yeah.
maybe we should let Ascat in on our plans.
Well, if he can read minds,
I more meant
One
in
of-
the we're having a meeting, please prepare a space kind of deal.
oh, okay, yes. I thought we could just do dinner in your rooms like the last time.
That
Right.
went so well last time.
No, we should do it
Right.
again. That was great.
Yes, it did. I silence. Oh, my goodness. He cannot handle liquor at all. It is so much fun.
Huh.
That actually does sound like a good plan, though. Eliminate possible other faces.
The thing
I
is, though, is
suppose.
that any kind of plan that we hatch now, he'll be able to read from us. By the way.
That's true.
So I feel like
Uh,
he's going to be entering into this meeting knowing whatever we have in mind.
well, Eminence isn't here and doesn't know the plan. So we come up with the plan and do everything. We
And
don't
send her
tell
to meet him and bring him
Eminence.
to-
Exactly.
Oh, that's so smart.
She does have a tendency to kind of find him in her own way, remembering the bathroom incident. She would be pretty good for that job.
I would like to just say, like, I want to put this out here so everyone is on the same page. But if he shows up with my face, I am going to eviscerate him on sight.
I understand that.
The institution of Valetaire strongly
I don't
disagrees with that
I don't
viewpoint.
care. No, I'm
However,
not
we
listening.
also
Don't even
understand
tell
that
me.
there's
We
There's
understand the
nothing that we can-
disclaimer. It's fine. We're not officially on the books. We haven't signed a contract. It's not an issue.
Well, there is a contract by words in Valetaire. It's not important.
I am a lawyer.
Um,
Nah.
So, do we have some sort of magic we can use to? I'm afraid I am much more large scale magical spells. I could set something up, but it would take a few hours.
Is there a way? Because does Moonbeam work on doppelgangers?
I believe so. I think it affects all creatures who shapeshift.
Oh, well, is there a way that we could set something up to, like, detonate the spell?
Well, it is. Do you know the spell? Do you have the spell prepared?
I don't. Bryn did.
Hmm. I do not know the spell either, and I'm afraid I do not have a scroll to learn it. So I don't have a way to do something like that.
Shit. I was hoping there was some way we could, like, make, like, a device or something that could do it, but I don't know if that's even a thing that exists, so...
I was just thinking a magical snare, a trap to keep him in place.
Yes, like murder?
No, like a spell.
Stop him running away.
Yes, you can technically break his legs, but I don't think that is a great idea.
Sorry, all I heard is you can break his legs.
I'm just waiting for Aery to actually try and break his legs and just, like, I don't know, like, stab himself or something. Like,
-1 strength.
yeah.
Perhaps hold person or
I can hold someone.
No,
Not
the
magically,
spell
though.
holds. I would imagine he is a practiced at escaping physical grapples. I can
He
set
hasn't
up
been held
a
by me
snare
before.
spell.
Yeah, Natalie is like very reliable.
Perhaps if we, where do we put? Where do we capture him in the room?
I think the room is good.
Do we have any idea of his range of mind powers?
According
No.
to the documentation that I have, it has to be line of sight.
Huh. Okay.
Generally, as far as he can see.
Oh,
as far as I
that's so
understand,
annoying.
when he reads, initially he only gets surface level thoughts, and it requires effort to probe. And there's a chance that when he does that, the other person becomes aware. And that is up to their mental fortitude.
So we just stop him from being able to see us.
Yes,
and
we
he
all wait in
can't
the
read our
room.
minds.
We all wait in the room except for Eminence.
Or
No, but I mean, even once he's in the room, he has to see us.
we have
Right?
interconnecting rooms?
Are you
Well,
suggesting we
I
hide
was
in a
thinking-
closet?
I mean, I was thinking we put a blindfold on him, but we could also hide in a closet for the entire conversation. I'm sure that would be very effective.
Well, if one of you knows the darkness spell, you can catch him in a bubble and prevent him
Ah.
from.
Do one of us know the darkness?
I feel like maybe
Hmm.
someone does.
I think someone knows it twice, maybe. Yeah, and we can do darkness. We can do that.
The only downside of that is while he's in the darkness spell, he can change into whatever he wants. He could pretend to be an old lady. He could bring multiple people, and we wouldn't know which one is him.
I
He
mean,
could
That's
scoop
why
out his
we,
eyeballs.
Well,
Exactly.
I did think that, but I felt that maybe I was being too violent and people didn't seem to be taking it that well, so I didn't say it, but I'm glad you did. We could scoop out his eyeballs, as suggested by Oriana. It was a good idea.
the other thing is that if we are sending out Eminence to meet him, why can't she just take him back up to the room? Then we know that he's not coming in with anyone else. We know that he can only speak with her. And then she brings him into the room. We're either hiding in a closet or in the room beside it. And then we let off the snare, maybe a few steps in, just so Ascat doesn't accidentally get himself caught in it. And done.
How big is the range on darkness? Is there a way to do it just like small? It's pretty big, right?
I think it is a 10-foot radius.
Oh, that's not too bad. But can we just put a blindfold on the guy?
We can, but what's to stop him from taking it off?
Also, how
And
does that work
Break
with
his
dark
finger
vision
bone.
as well? No. I mean,
Magic dark vision cannot penetrate darkness as a spell.
I was more thinking a blindfold. Like, you know.
How well does dark vision work with a blindfold? If you cannot
Yeah.
see, you cannot see.
No, but I mean, like, you know how when you wear a blindfold and how, like, you know, most material isn't, like, completely, like, opaque or whatever. You can kind of see through
Wait,
it. If you have
You
dark
fold fabric
vision...
over a few times.
Yeah, but what if you didn't?
We can
Enough.
test it beforehand to make sure that no one can see through.
I think this is overly complicating.
This is absolutely
minute
overly
detail.
complicating.
Because at the end of the day, we still want to try to offer him this opportunity first. And if he is not willing to help the king and assist Valater, then have a conversation with him about his crimes that he has committed. So I think I think we are getting a bit ahead of ourselves.
I just want to point out again that he could say anything and you can't trust him.
We are there.
So he could be like, yeah, I'll help you with your king, and not do that at all.
I have been working on a modified version of the spell do you know Mind Spike?
Oh, I know it.
Which allows you to track an individual for a period of time. I have been working on a modified version with an increased range and duration. Some things that can last several days. And simply put, when the time runs out, we can follow him if we need to. If he does not come back, we know where he went.
You know, that's a pretty good idea. It'd be like putting him on probation and he has to keep coming back to
Yeah, like
good minds back him again.
I mean,
And you should try to find a way to just put it on him for like forever, so you could just keep that motherfucker on a leash. He needs it. Honestly, like if you give him any chance to get out of it, he's gonna do it.
I have worked on an extended version of the spell. I think in order to get it to last longer, I would need to attach it to an object as an enchantment, something that just lasts forever. But the difficulty is if you attach it to an object, you must have a locator to find it. You cannot have a person who receives. It's a lot of details. It doesn't matter now. I'm still working on several things. I have several avenues and leads, but I do appreciate the insight.
Feel like,
what about? Can you? You want to put it on an object, right?
Yes.
This is thinking in
but
the future.
I would need something to be able to find the object. If I attach the Mind Spike location aspect to an enchanted object, I would be insane if I attached my consciousness to that spell on that object for the rest of my life. That is too much. So having some things that I can attune to that would allow me to then connect and find it. A key or a compass.
Sure.
A compass is a good idea.
Well, anything past that is future plan. Right now, we just need to worry about keeping him in the room. And I feel like getting Eminence to meet and bring him to the room seems like a good plan. If you can set up a snare of some description, or if someone does know the spell to hold someone, we can hold him in the center of the room. We can all be hidden so that he can't hear us. We cast darkness and we just talk to him through the door.
This is a DM question that I'm pretty sure I already know the answer to. Doppelgangers don't count as like anything like a fiend or anything because they are a player character, like a playable
They can
race.
be, yes. I believe that they are just humanoids.
Yeah.
Oh no, they are considered monstrosities. Why am I telling you this? This is no. Stop it.
But also, I think anything can
very
count
nicely.
as a creature.
I just wanted to see if I could stick them in my magic circle. I didn't think they counted as like something I could put in the magic circle.
Why? I've been outplayed. It's like King's Cup when somebody gets the question master.
I mean, it's also a question that I could have just in character asked. Because he's like, I've been reading about them.
Yeah.
I should have phrased it that way, actually.
Mhm.
Is there an issue with the proposed plan?
No, this will be fine. I'm not going to hide in a closet, though.
That's fine.
Neither,
Door is fine.
Neither, I think, am I, or I think Silence as well. Because we want to negotiate with him first before we capture him.
I do think that, unfortunately, I can't believe I'm saying this. I don't think our plan should be to capture him initially. If you have something to talk to him about that you think that he would follow your terms and conditions, it should be a backup plan. But I would like the backup plan to the backup plan be we kill him. I feel like you've taken that entirely off the table without meeting the man. And you really shouldn't have.
Then we have to do it essentially like our Eminence. We would have to use silence because all of us have been in this room and have heard what plan we have. Silence would need to be the one that arranges with him, and if that fails, then we need to transition to whatever we do next.
They're both incredibly frustrating people. That would be an interesting conversation.
He doesn't seem
I
that
really
bad.
still think we should just blindfold him so he can't read out.
We need to
stupid
catch
things.
him to do that. And
Could you
he will
imagine if-
He's
read our
coming into
thoughts.
a room with us.
Is he, though? Is he coming into a room with us? He is
He
a
will come
shifty
into the room
dude.
to get his coin thing.
He really wants that shit.
Sure.
We also could use that as a bargaining chip with him. So you're right. As much as I would love to, I do not think Niladri and I can be in the room when he comes. Because he could, as you said, just read our minds and decide to bolt.
What if? So, we do have adjoining rooms. I feel like we spent way much time fucking around with plans. But we do have adjoining rooms, so we could leave the door open and just like put up like a curtain so he can't see you, but you can hear and like talk through the curtain. If you wanted to still be involved, but not have your deepest thoughts read by this lunatic.
Not a bad idea. I think we can do that, yeah. Well, if that's our plans then.
I guess.
So we use the disc, we tell him, hey, come in this room, and then he comes in the room, and
We speak with him
we speak with him.
and see how things go, and if things turn bad,
We kill him.
we capture him, and if there is no alternative, no other option, and again, this is not the official stance of the city-state of
We
Valetaire.
know. We know.
But again, I don't care.
Capture first.
Capture to death.
No?
I mean, we have to capture him before we kill him, so that they're out of character.
You see Niladri looks over and capture to death.
Looking at the disky thing.
Yeah.
Like, what was it made of? Does it look like it's something that we can threaten to destroy, or because it's magic, it's not something that you can just be like, and we get Natalie to hit it with an axe?
Yeah, so it looks like it's made out of like some really solid metal. It's got like this hefty weight to it. Almost kind of like a tuning fork. And you can see that it is slightly thicker in the center and the edges kind of taper off. And it has sort of this it has sort of this intricate pattern of swirls all across the top. And as you flip it over, you can see that the pattern is mimicked on the bottom. And you get the sense that it is the pattern of swirls that makes it unique. And in the center, it is hollow. There's a small opening about the size of a small coin where you would expect you could like loop some rope or twine through it just to hold on to it easier.
That's actually that's made me had a thought. I don't trust that he is not some kind of tricksy pickpocket. I would like to get some kind of rope, and I'm going to wear it until we agree to give it back.
Okay, yeah, it's easy enough. You in the keep, you're easily able to get some, and just loop it through as a necklace.
Yeah. Because he's going to, like, if he reads my mind, he's going to know I'm wearing it, but I'm pretty sure he's also going to know he's not going to get through all that armor particularly easily to grab it from around my neck.
Oh, so you're wearing it underneath the armor?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's
I'm
much more
going to
difficult.
tuck it in.
Absolutely. Yeah. Unless he does like that street magician thing where he like shakes your hand and gives you a hug and then comes
No,
away
he's
with
not
your
touching
social
me.
security number. He shakes your hand and gets your blood type. You're like, what the fuck? Awesome. At about this time, Eminence and Silence, the two of you make your way back from your lunch and return towards the keep and head upstairs and find the rest of your party deliberating on the details. And what's your attitude? What's your mood after lunch?
Is he doing that thing, the real chivalrous thing where he's got his like elbow out and she's
Oh,
holding his
absolutely.
arm?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Awesome. When they come back in, I imagine both of them pretty much simultaneously just like kind of
Drop
on each
arms.
other. Yeah, and walk in trying to be very professional. And it's hard to tell with one being red and one being purple, but I imagine that they're both blushing.
Oh my gosh, my lights.
Oh, that was
Lights are just like, nope.
yeah.
Bedtime, I
The
guess.
lights did not like that. Yeah.
Yeah. The two of you walk in. Why don't you make me a deception check? Deception or performance?
Are you leaving that up to me? Let's find out. Deception. Say total of 17.
Excellent. Anyone who wants to, you can make an insight check.
Yeah.
I was
As
going to
not
say,
gonna know
is that
anything.
versus that passive or rolled?
coming up the stairs, up first, you see Eminence, and a moment later, silence. And Natalie, how'd you do?
Hee, that's a natural 20.
Oh, wow.
Wait, I don't have that good insight though. It's only a 22.
22?
I'm pretty sure that's also exactly what I got. I got 16 plus 6.
Jeez.
Nice.
El
Is
Romeo
my
looks
mouth all
over and-
fucked up there?
Is your
That's
mouth
right.
all fucked up?
My
16
math.
plus 6 is 22.
Yeah, 16 plus 6 is 22.
I
El
just point
Romeo
out,
looks
I
over and...
love that the sisters. Oriana has an insight of +6, and I have a deception of +6. So you put them together, they just cancel each other out.
That's so
They're the
good.
reasons why for each other's back.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They just keep getting higher and higher.
El Romeo says, "Oh, what a coincidence! The two of you arriving here at the same time." And Niladri looks over and they had a date, idiot. And immediately, silence. His eyebrows kind of go up for a second. And he, we happened to meet at a similar restaurant.
A similar restaurant.
Natalie's just lifted an eyebrow, obviously knowing this is the first time they've heard about date because Aery's the only one who's ever heard about it. Eyebrow directly at Eminence, but saying nothing.
Eminence was looking kind of like quietly pleased with herself, but a bit embarrassed. But at that look of like horror of silence at being called out on it, now she's a little. I don't know what to think about that. That's that kind of hurt.
He sees that, and at which point, without looking, he kind of reaches over with his hand to reach for yours.
That's going to get
I-
Oriana's eyebrows up.
Found Eminence to be quite fetching, so I decided to try to get to know her. Is it such a foreign idea for people to go on a date?
Very normal.
And El Romeo. Oh, this is exciting. This is so much fun.
Yeah, I'm just death glaring Oriana, daring her to say anything.
You know, imagine that's pretty easy to see. If you were going to ask my sister out, you could at least have the decency not to lie about it like she's something that needs to be kept secret.
He turns and looks over to you, Eminence. Eminence, I apologize. That was disrespectful of me.
Certainly fucking
I won't
was.
do it again.
As the date or the nurse telling her sister?
The The bad one.
It's fine. It's fine.
The-
Let's just
The trying to hide it.
Okay, good.
fine.
There
Can we all
was
just
when we both came in, we both did the thing where we tried to look casual, and I thought we were trying to.
You don't need to. Oh, look, I love that you're talking more. That's wonderful. Communication is important, but we don't need to talk about. What were you guys talking about?
Are we
Yes.
trying to tell
how
you?
Absolutely nothing. We can't tell you.
What?
It's
And-
a secret.
I'm sorry.
El Romeo. So he's a mind reader. So we have a plan, but if he saw any of us, he could just read our minds and find a plan. So we can't tell you because the two of you are going to meet him and talk with him.
Funny you should say that. I'll kind of look
We
at silence like, yeah, I don't want to go ahead and say anything without him also agreeing to say something.
we met him at lunch. Or should I say, he impersonated me at lunch and came and spoke with us for a bit.
No, he wouldn't do something like that. Arrow
How's
is
it
like
feel?
looking at the two you haven't met
I
him.
can understand your distaste. And El Romeo, what's he like? He's sharp. He is sharp. Not always in a
Annoying.
good way.
As frustrating as ever. However, I do think perhaps there's a little more to it than we may have initially believed. I'm not saying he's not infuriating. There may be other factors that we hadn't necessarily considered.
Well, it's not so much that we haven't considered it that he won't tell us anything, so we can't know anything about him and take that into consideration. We have asked him a lot of questions that he deflected. In our defense.
To your
true.
plan, though, I was actually, if you were okay with it, Eminence, going to suggest that you and I speak with him initially for the first round of conversation tonight. So it happens to line up as a happy accident.
Yes, look, I agree with that part. I just want some assurance that the plan doesn't involve immediately murdering him.
Regrettably, no.
Immediately is a specific choice of words. I don't want to know the details because I can't know the details. Excellent. Good. Well then. Is there anything that we need to do to prepare for tonight? Or should Eminence and I leave the rest of you to it?
No, I think we're pretty much done. I mean, you can go and spend time together alone anyway if you want. But
Subtle.
Yeah, maybe
Very
it might be good to chat a little bit more amongst ourselves, really like iron out these plans.
yeah, and you should probably discuss what you're going to talk about
Very true.
without us around. For some reason, even though we can know. Anyway, you know.
So we don't accidentally spill anything, right? Like, you don't want to accidentally
Or-
give it away.
At which point, Silence looks over at you, Eminence, and Eminence, I would love to spend the afternoon with you if you don't mind. The gardens are quite nice this time of the day.
We love a garden.
And he opens his arm and leads the way for you down the stairs.
Just
When
walk
they
out
leave the
and look
room,
up
Oriana's
there.
gonna shoot a look like, you don't fucking love gardens! I think gardens are
Garden.
boring!
As well,
Plants.
like when she's like out not out of sight, but like out of the room, Aery will like point at her and whisper like, "You're welcome."
She just roll her eyes at the area she walks past.
But it's like when she's like walked away, like who used the whisper spell,
Oh,
so like
okay.
she can just hear.
And she just flips him off like behind her back.
Silence is like, what? Oh, okay. Awesome. So, unless there is anything, any scenes that we want to do before tonight, anything that anybody wants to do to prepare, I think we can fast forward a bit.
I think we're good.
Yeah, no, nothing that we can think of. We've already agreed we're going to tell ASCAP that we're eating in our rooms. We'll just organize that and then.
Yep.
The only other thing was, we were talking about the snare possibility, though. Does anyone actually have that spell? Because we would need to set that up beforehand, and if we're going to have initial chats before we actually capture him, we need to work out how that's
Yes.
going to work.
El Romior does have the capacity to learn it, but he needs to take some time to prepare it. So he can cast the spell, but he has to touch an area for 1 minute in order to cast it. So if Shazarash walks through a doorway, then he has to be behind him in the hall putting the snare spell
Easy.
down or
Yeah,
something.
sure. Sounds good. We don't have, like, windows in our room or anything, I don't think, do we?
You do.
Oh, we do. Oh, Nate.
Yeah.
Love that. Let's make sure our windows are locked.
A nice place. You're in the Golden Tankard.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
we
like,
were
we could
we
have,
would
like...
some fairly high range rooms, but they have no windows.
Well, you know, because
It's
we
pitch
could have
black.
ended up with, like, you know, because we got the 3 rooms. One of the rooms could be windows, and the other 2 could be, like, a central one. It doesn't have windows.
Just in
It's
the
like
middle
when
of
you
the-
go on a cruise and you can get like the room with a balcony, the room with a window, or the internal room, which is literally just a box attached to a hallway.
Oh, that would make me so sick. But yeah.
Oh my god,
Actually-
yeah, no window with the rocking.
I have one last suggestion, actually. Romeo, you mentioned the Mind Spike spell.
Mhm.
Would you allow me to offer to Shazarak that I use it on him as like a guarantee that he won't try to escape? I think we talked about this, that you can use it and choose not to do the damage, right? I think we talked about that in like an earlier session. It's not in the rules, but
Ow.
Yeah, I would see you being able to use it and not do the damage if you want.
Okay.
Just because it's like it's sort of like implanting that sort of psychic thing in them. So I could see you just doing that at like a surface level. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So it gets closer and closer towards the evening. The sun dips down lower and lower until it starts to reach sunset. The sky takes on the purple and orange and crimson hues as the day goes on. Your room is set up. You put a curtain in between the doorway between the adjoining rooms. You set up chairs and tables for everyone to sit and eat if they want to have a conversation, at least for the image of dinner, to which Ascat happily prepares a feast. But with the radiant colors of the sky still overhead, Eminence, you and Silence downstairs recognize, and you specifically recognize Shazarash walking into the Golden Tankard. If I remember correctly, the rest of you are upstairs on the other side of the curtain. And once you hear Shazarash enter into the room, El Romior will try to sneak out and cast the snare spell just outside of the door. Is that correct?
Yes.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, so
yeah, that sounded.
he was going in
right.
the door, into the door, and then going out into the hallway and starting to cast that. So when he leaves that...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we also assume that we've locked the windows? Just in
Yes,
case.
that was
you
already
know?
made clear. The windows are locked.
Yeah, cool.
You recognize Shazarash enter, and he's wearing sort of like a red and purple jacket. Once again, open at the chest. You can see he's got sort of that bearded young man face that you have seen him wear before. And he smiles over at the two of you. Good evening. Silence nods.
Again?
I take it you have some elaborate plan or trap set up?
I do not.
That's what I like to hear. Looks over. Ascat! Oh, it's good to see you. Ascat turns and looks at him. Oh, Shara, it has been a long time since you've come on in here. And Shazarash, oh, good to see you, old friend, and pats him on the back. And Ascat, when are we going to go drinking again? It has been too long since we have turned the town upside down. And Shazarash, I do not think you could handle it, old friend. And Ascat chuckles. Well, if I had known you were the one that they were hoping to meet, I would have prepared something a little bit nicer. But in the meanwhile, I'll break out a good vineyard for you. And Shazarash, good to hear. Good to hear. So, lead the way. And
Yeah, as
motions
Ascat
upstairs.
walks away, Eminence will kind of just mutter, like, thought he liked us.
Are you saying that to Ascat?
No, he's already leaving, but she will mutter it to the two remaining, like Shazarash and Silence.
Silence. Silence. Thought he liked me. And Shazarash, don't worry about it. Happens more often than you'd like. So, to the usual dining room?
Surely we were hoping to speak to you in a more private setting. I'm sure you can understand.
Of course. And where is that?
Come with us. And she'll kind of start leading the way upstairs.
Excellent. And he falls in step behind you with Silence in tow. You make your way up the stairs, down the hall, to the door. Wings open. You step inside, the dining room, table and chairs, everything all set up. Shazarash enters in. Looks around the room. Sees the open door with the curtain, and somebody's been doing their homework.
I'll look at the curtain, but genuinely baffled.
And heads over to the table and sits down and leans back a little bit, sees a glass of water and just kind of picks it up and takes a taste, sets it down. Silence enters the room with him, closes the door. So, straight to business, or how'd the date go? And
Straight to business, if you don't mind.
Silence looks over at Shazarash. Have you given any consideration to our proposal? And Shazarash, I have. Do you have
And?
any thoughts you would care to share with us on your proposal? Shazarash. He sets down the water and the chair kind of leans forward. I have been used before. What makes me think you're going to treat me any different in your employ? As it is right now, I see 5 avenues of escape from this room. By my estimation, you've considered 2 with the windows and 1 with the door. What guarantees do I have to work for you that it's in my interest? And silence sees you about to say something, Eminence.
Would offer those guarantees if you ever gave us an inkling of what your interests are.
Shazarash smiles. I am interested in a great many things. Good wine and liquor, for one. Good times, good people to meet, good experiences, good places to go. I can do all of that on my own. Why should I do it for you?
Because you haven't always been alone, and I don't believe you've taken to it nearly as much as you're pretending to.
The rest of you, by the way, are on the other side of the curtain. You can hear this conversation clearly. Silence. I think Eminence is right. From what we know of individuals with your talents, and you can see Shazarash kind of acknowledges the phrase. You are very different from the rest of the people like you. We would see you in the care of a city-state that hopes to do the best for its people. We could have set up traps for you to enter in this room, but we wanted to open a dialogue with you. And Shazarash says, you wanted to open a dialogue first. I see that word. Because you haven't said it, doesn't mean it's not said. And Silence says, yes, we do find your activities somewhat threatening. It is there's a thump from the room next door.
Sorry, I forget that every noise on my desk is super loud through my mic.
Careful over there. Shazarash cries out. The reason that we want to bring you in is because of fear. Fear of the unknown. We don't know what you have done, whose faces you have worn, what crimes you may or may not have committed, if any. But that fear is an assumption. I will assume you have done some things that are bad, presumably wearing my face. However, I do not presume that you intend to hurt me or those around you by wearing my face. And as I have learned earlier today, fear of, and he says this looking at you, Eminence, I do not want to allow fear to make decisions for me. And looks back at you, Shazarash, back over at Shazarash.
I would like to add that if you believe you're the only type of being that is feared and judged, if you are, then I would invite you to look into our minds and tell us if you still believe that to be true.
Shazarash kind of blinks and, oh no, I've been rooting around in there for like 10 minutes. You guys are absolute disasters. I just want you to know that. But thank you for being genuine. And you can see like an uncomfortable shiver go down his spine. He's like, Thank you for being genuine. That is appreciated. You're right. I have not always been alone like this, and I appreciate your astuteness, but I'm not ready to talk about that yet. Instead, what I will say is that my behavior has been frivolous. And silence kind of cuts in. I understand. We don't need to know your life story. If you don't want to talk about it, that's okay. Shazarash. I know. He seems kind of at a loss for a moment before Silence says, well, the king is a werewolf. At which point Shazarash kind of, I know, and there are lizard people living in the sewers. Oh. And Silence. No, the king is actually a werewolf. King Arnold is not King Arnold. King Arnold is actually Bernard, his brother. Bernard was lost for a time and was infected with a rare form of fey lycanthropy that requires him to be absent for unknowable periods of time whenever his transformation overtakes him. However, as the leading figure of the city of Valater, we cannot have the king just disappearing due to spontaneous illnesses at a time. We would be very happy if you joined us to help fill that empty seat as a figurehead during his absences. And Shazarash fully stands up and says, I just want to be clear. You want me to imitate the king? With all the talk about like capture and betraying and all of that stuff about, and that's your opening argument? That's not, are we even playing the same game? And Silence
I think
looks
anyone
over.
is playing your game.
I thought honesty would be appreciated. And Shazarash says, it is, it's just, damn. This is like, I have killed so many people. And you, I shouldn't say that, should not have said that. You want me to imitate the, how was your date? Tell, and you can see he's kind of getting a little tripped up a little bit. And Silence goes, I didn't hear that. But yes, we would like you to imitate the king who is already imitating his brother. We would give you access to him to find a superficial copy, simply to act as a figurehead, while I would maintain and run the city-state of Valater while the king is indisposed, while you simply make appearances without speaking ever as a show of faith for the people. And Shazarash, yes, okay, yeah, okay. I can do that. I can do that. Can I still go be free and do other things while whenever I'm not in hire, as it were? In silence. Ooh. I believe some of us here would like to have a conversation about your usage of other people's faces.
While they're ending that conversation, in the other room, I just want to turn and whisper to El Romeo. I just want to be like, the Chocolatiers are not responsible for his actions. You've brought this upon yourself and it is not sanctioned by us.
We do not endorse this idea.
Absolutely. Yeah. Silence at this point walks over to the curtain. I believe some of us would like to have a conversation with Shazarash about wearing other people's faces.
You know, what's the point? You're just going to, like, let him off anyway.
We do need to have a conversation about the crimes that you have committed, which we do have evidence for. And Shazarash says, yeah, I know. At that point, there is a knock at the door, and you hear Ascat outside. Silence goes over and opens the door, and Ascat comes in with dinner. Big old trays full of food and drink, and he's got several waiters with him that help bring everything inside, that load up the table with everything. And
Is it any noticeably better than the dinners he's been serving us regularly?
I'm gonna roll for that. It is not. You get the sense that this is the dinner that he has been preparing for you when he found out that he was going to do dinner for you. You do not think that it is because he now saw his friend that he changed his plans.
He is lucky.
Excellent. Well, if we have finished with our initial spate of business, then I think we can, at the very least, get some food. I can see that there are 7 places here at the table. So why don't the rest of you come on out from the curtain and we can eat, talk, and converse as comrades and allies. And no?
Oriana will come out with just, the look of, but if you step out of line, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm going to, like, flatten you. You're going to die.
Oriana!
Not very
That-
friendly.
That is... Your armor looks particularly polished this evening.
No answer.
Aery's just, like, standing behind the curtain with, like, his arms crossed. He's so pissed.
I recognize those boots.
Don't talk to me, Shazarash. I'm not kidding. Don't say anything to me for the rest of the night. We are not friends.
He kind of leans over to you, Oriana, and says, I could say something about walking a mile in those shoes, but...
I wouldn't. Actually, I'd love to see it.
Are you just going to stand behind the curtain?
He'll come out, but he's not going to come out next.
Or like
Okay.
the end of the table. I would assume that like Natalie's come out, but I'd suppose she's picked a spot by the door. She's convinced that either he's going to go out a window or he's going to go out the door. So she may as well pick one of them.
Window or door?
Actually, fuck it, the window. I could jump out a window. It'll be
Go to the
fine.
window. He said 6.
Huh?
He said there are 6 places to escape.
Said 5.
He said 5.
and
He
we
said
found 3.
Or
He thought of 6.
did he?
But also, this man talks so much shit.
But also, like, if he's gonna try and, like, lift up a floorboard to try and get out, I will just pick him up by his shirt collar, and I will just put him back in his place.
Yeah, Niladri comes out as well, along with El Romeo. Hello, I am El Romeo. This is my companion Niladri. I hope you do not mind, but we are... And Shazarash, I know who you are. I have worn your face several times. And looks over at Niladri. I have never worn your face. Frankly, you terrify me. And Niladri just kind of smiles. and goes and sits down.
Yeah.
And so you sit and begin to eat and have dinner, and there is a tension in the air, very obviously. And you can tell that Shazarash is making an effort to not be insulting. Like, there are times where someone says something and he kind of and just has like a shit-eating grin. Like, he knows he's got something, but he doesn't say it. But the meal is had, and basic conditions are established for Shazarash about imitating the king during the times while he is indisposed and questioned about his other activities during his free time. What does he do? Who does he imitate? That sort of thing. And it's about halfway through the meal when Shazarash, without warning, just kind of stands up and looks across the room. Do you feel that?
The rumbling in my
And-
stomach from all the food, or
Everybody make a perception check for me.
I really have to find a better spot to put my notes. So I have to keep moving them every time I want to roll my dice.
You can also make an insight check if you think that Shazarash is just being a bitch.
It is a possibility.
I
That's
oh,
definitely
Shit,
so
it's so
bad.
shit.
I got a 9.
I got a 15.
Nice.
I got a 7.
15.
How did I get the
My-
high one?
I got a 19, but I'm tossing up as to whether I should be like, I think he's full of shit, because I have spent most of the day thinking he's full of shit. I don't know which I'd be more curious about. The Oriana would absolutely be like, what the fuck are you talking about, rather than trying to investigate anything.
Insight check then?
Yeah, that puts it up to a 22, but I
Awesome.
hate that I'm probably not going to find out what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's fine. He seems surprised. He seems genuinely off guard at the moment. Natalie, with a 15, you do feel your stomach kind of rumbling a little bit, and it's kind of that you're still eating, so your stomach is like, oh yes, finally food. But there's also kind of like a little hum to it, and you see that on the table, the water in your glasses is no longer flat. And a moment later, the rest of you begin to hear this silent hum that slowly grows louder and louder and louder until it's this deep rumble as the ground beneath you suddenly begins to shudder as Shazarash quickly looks around the room and also that's bad. That's probably bad. That's probably bad, right?
Probably has nothing to do with those people who were after you earlier.
Does it seem natural in any way? Like, does this seem like an earthquake, or does this seem like, is it like rhythmic and like a boom, boom, boom kind of deal?
It does not feel like a rhythmic boom, boom, boom. It feels like the ground underneath you is suddenly less even. And there's a moment where everyone is kind of feeling the ground shake beneath them. And suddenly you can sort of hear the clinking of glasses clink, 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 clinking as they shake, and a single glass crashes off the side of the table and breaks on the ground. And I'm going to need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Oh no.
We're on the second floor, aren't we?
You are.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god, my rolls are so bad.
Can I grab onto the
Six.
person who's nearest me as well, which should probably be, I don't know, someone, but like someone to help stabilize them as well. Also, I have advantage on effects that I can see. Does this count? Because I have witnessed it. Does that?
No,
Okay.
not quite. I would say you can give someone advantage if you take disadvantage on your dexterity saving throw.
Sure, I'll take that risk.
Okay.
I just don't know who would be nearest. It's not Aery, because Aery's on the other side of the table.
I was sitting next to Shazrak, I'm pretty sure, since he whispered a thing at me.
Then probably you, I think. I reckon.
I don't need it.
I would have
What?
been sitting next to Silence, and I'm also not sure if I need it.
Okay.
Yeah, but also, is that mattering? Like, this is something that Natalie
Yeah,
would do.
I know.
So
So
anyone who
is-
got below a 14 takes 4 bludgeoning damage, and the rest of you take half as the ground beneath you suddenly buckles, and your chairs are momentarily tossed up into the air and crash back down as the ground beneath you begins to roil violently, as it seems like an earthquake is now starting to happen. You can see that the walls are kind of shuddering and shaking. Your very foundation, your connection to the ground itself, is vibrating unnaturally. You have a very, very difficult time finding your footing here on the ground as it continues to shake. And you can hear shouts of alarm coming from downstairs and out of the window. What would you like to do?
From a survival aspect, do I know what would be the best option here? Like, obviously, I'm thinking about whether it would be best to move back through the building or to go out the window. Can I know in character by maybe making a check or something?
Yeah, I'll let you make a quick survival check.
That's a natural 20, so that's 25.
Nice. Yeah, you know earthquakes. So get down, get under cover, and brace is what you're supposed to do. So either get flat down onto the ground or get under a table, underneath chairs and doorways, and brace yourself against the object. You know that doorways are generally pretty safe, and you know that you're supposed to stay away from windows. If you're inside, you're supposed to stay inside. If you're outside, you're supposed to stay outside. And
But
then
even though we're on a
lastly
second
is-
floor?
You are on the second floor, yes.
Okay, cool. I guess I'll relay that to everyone else and just be like, find a doorway, get under the chairs and tables and things.
Yeah. Shazarash quickly just gets under the table and holds on to like a table leg, like full on just gripping it. You can see El Romeor is kind of down there. Niladri has one arm holding El Romeor down onto the ground. The rest of you kind of clamber down underneath the tables, and a moment later, the glass windows of the room shatter and explode in as the wall itself seems to warp a little bit. You could hear great cracking and splintering sounds of wood groaning and creaking underneath the rumble of the earth itself as it continues to shake. And everyone, because you are under the tables, because you made a successful survival check, you are protected from the glass. And there's a moment where it seems to slow down just a bit and relax. The rumbling grows quieter and quieter. And then, like a horse bucking its rider, the ground beneath you just lifts straight up. And it's like those. Have you seen those sort of rafts that go out from the beach into the water that extend like 20 or 30 feet? And when the wave comes, you can see it like lift up and then drop back down. That happens. You are suddenly lifted up into the air, and then the ground beneath you just kind of falls away. Can I get everyone to make a dexterity saving throw with advantage because you are braced underneath the table?
I just rolled a natural 20 again.
I don't know. What is your roll?
I don't know!
Is this another dexterity?
Yes, dexterity saving throw, please.
I don't know whether that's cursing me, though, and I should swap out for a dice just in case, if you know what I mean.
Well, my dice have been doing really well up until then when I rolled a 10 and a 12, and I have a -1 to dex saves, so that's an 11.
Okay,
I got a 14.
Even
and
with
17.
advantage, that was an 11 for me.
awesome. So everyone below a 17 takes 14 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh, thank fucking God I passed that. Oh my God.
If you succeed, you take
That's
half.
boy.
Okay.
Still
as
bad,
you are
but
tossed up and then crash back down into the ground. Are as this just massive wave seems to ripple out. El Romeo is immediately just like, oh, that hurts. Shazarash is like, this is ridiculous. Niladri is just bracing and holding on. You can see that her left arm has a couple of cuts from landing on some glass that's been broken on the ground. But after another maybe 10 or 15 seconds after that final ripple, the rumbling seems to slow down and fade until finally the ground is calm and settled. And your ears are kind of ringing a little bit from the constant noise of the ground itself rumbling beneath your feet. But pretty quickly, you're able to pick out the sound of yelling and screaming coming from outside. And also something else, something distinctly not human.
Grand. Love that.
Can we see out the fucked up wall? Like, can we see it
Yeah.
outside?
Getting out from under the table, you get up to the window and you look outside, and you can see that the ground, the central thoroughfare, there's just tossed up soil and dirt. The stone itself is cracked and broken for the street itself. You can see these sort of like tears in the ground where it has split unevenly. You can also see that almost like a plate of ground has been tilted at an angle. So at the end farther away from you, it's sort of dipped down, but the end close to you, you can see that it's sort of tilted up, kind of like this wall of rock and dirt coming up out in front of you. And in the middle of that, there is this black opening, a pipe, a sewer, a drainage system, actually. And immediately after spotting this, you see a green clawed hand.
Damn it! It's lizard people!
Crawl up against
You
the sides of this pipe and pull itself forward. A long, pointed snout, sort of reptilian in nature, but almost more draconian. Not lizard people, Cobalts. As
I love
one of them,
Cobalts.
about 4 feet tall, kind of blinks against the bright sun and kind of pulls itself forward. A woman right next to him, immediately screaming out in surprise, and in almost like retaliation to the sound, he kind of like reaches out with the hand, and you can see the claws kind of gouge against her as she just screams and panics and falls over. And behind, you can see another kobold kind of pulling itself up out of the sewers. And people seem to be panicking that these kobolds are pulling themselves out, as the kobolds are kind of blinding themselves from the sun, but are also withdrawing from the sewage system. What would you like to do?
I guess
Not
all the
I-
rumors here are true.
meaning to double back a little, but it is nighttime though, isn't it?
Sunset.
Oh,
no,
sunset.
yeah, you guys were eating. Yeah. Because it was sunset when Shazarash showed up. So yeah, the sun is down. So he's fine. He's
Oh,
looking
no.
But still
around.
maybe a little
Yeah,
bit like
yeah.
disorientated. Like, you
Maybe.
know,
He
he's
was-
like a little
It
like,
was just an
whoa.
earthquake. Yeah, a little shaken
Yeah.
up.
But-
You can see he's got sort of like a primitive rusted kitchen knife. The one behind him has like this tiny little wooden spear with another kitchen knife lashed to the end of it.
Precious baby.
They look so surprised until a crossbow bolt flies through the air and sinks into one, and you can see a member of the town guard is lizard people in the fucking sewers, and pulls his crossbow back and gets it ready. And almost
Hey!
immediately after the first one crawls out and sees it die, they kind of let out this hideous scream, and like a torrent, they pour out. You see at first 4, then 6, 8, 10, 12, continuing to claw their way through until easily 24 of these kobolds are pulling themselves up free from the sewers. What would you like to do?
Just quickly, speaking of inhuman screaming from lizard boys, you said that we heard something that didn't sound human. Is that what we heard, or is there
Yeah.
something else out there?
That is what you heard.
Okay.
I guess, yeah, once Aery yelled out, look out the window, and just, they don't look like they're meant to be here. they don't look overly harmful either. Maybe we should intervene.
As you say that, the kobold in the front throws the spear at the guy with the crossbow. That's a natural 20. Wow.
20s.
Yeah. The spear just catches him into the shoulder. He drops the crossbow down to the ground and kind of falls. Oh god! And starts trying to pull himself away across the soil and dirt.
He kind of deserves that.
He did shoot them. We should probably try to get in there. Easiest way would be to go literally out the window, probably.
Yeah.
Rather than going back through the house. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna head down there. You gonna come with? Everyone fine? Everyone in a fit state?
Shazarash, you still, I mean, yes? You can't use your magic right now.
What? I don't have magic.
Okay.
Say what?
You don't feel that? Look, the kobolds are going to kill that dude, but don't use magic.
Why?
Why?
You can't feel that.
No.
What?
How about you come with us and we'll go deal with this? Alright? Explain to us on the
How
way.
about you tell me what I'm supposed to feel?
I hate it when lives are on the line. And he starts to head over towards the window to try to make his way down.
Alright, I'm gonna just basically vault out the window. I will grab him if needed. If he's not if he's not hurrying, I will
No, he's
grab
hurrying,
him.
yeah.
Okay, cool, fine. Anyone need any help getting down this window?
I mean, I was going to dimension door you and I down, but I'm gonna go take a nap because for some reason I'm not allowed to use magic.
I mean, give it a try. See what you feel. And Shazarash is now like
looking at
climbing on the bottom.
me.
I can help you,
Can I
Aery.
try and
I
use
can
a
carry
cantrip?
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna
what
do
I'll-
the same thing.
I just want to use light. Light cantrip and see what happens.
Yeah. Light? You try to use
Yeah.
light?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing happens.
At all? Like, so there's no. Do I feel anything though, or it just doesn't work?
You feel nothing. So, as a sorcerer, you feel that whenever you use magic, you connect through your bloodline, through your connection to magic itself. You can feel the weave present, and the way that you cast spells isn't by a wizard doing the correct incantations or a cleric calling from the divine power of their god. It's by connecting to the weave itself. It's as if there's no weave at all.
Right.
It's like if you the player were to try to cast the light cantrip. There's just nothing.
I could cast light maybe.
Let's see it. I am so excited to see this.
I already am. What do you think this is? Look, it's so bright.
Oh yeah. That's like I can cast darkness in my room.
Yeah. Shit. Well.
Power of technology.
Oh my god. Yes. Well, I am a sorcerer, so I'm not going down there.
I'm gonna follow and try to climb down the window after Shazarash, but not to jump into the fight. I'm like, wait, what did you say? What do you mean? What?
The thing that I stood up for that I couldn't. You can't feel that?
No.
Okay. Let's go and roll for initiative.
I was gonna say, if I got another fucking 20, I was gonna be like, I'm in jail. That's Monopoly rules. But it
I got
wasn't,
a
so it's
20.
fine. Nice.
Like,
Oh, I do
Which
have
is great
advantage on
because I'm
initiative,
not
though.
participating in this fight. So.
I got 0
Oh,
One
wow.
swap.
0.
again. I
Aery,
rolled
that
a
was
nat 1 and I have a -1.
Aery, that was a 20 total?
Not 20.
So
Which
20
is
total?
20 total, yeah.
Okay. Eminence?
oh god, I thought I got an 18, but no, I got a 20.
Hey. Natalie?
That's a 21.
1.
I had to think so hard about what 19 plus 2 is. It's kind of embarrassing.
We've all been there.
And Excellent. So up first is actually Natalie.
Okay, I mean, I would like to get down, so if Aery's really reluctant to go, everyone else seems to be making their way down. I think it would be hard for me to take Oriana down because she's heavy. I'll just try and jump out the window. Screw
Superhero
climbing,
landing?
I'm just gonna jump out.
Yeah. Give me an athletics check.
I'm trying to do it purposely to be faster, so yeah, if that helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a natural 3, but that does get me a 10.
10. Okay. You leap out of the window and you're like, I've jumped this high before. And as your booted feet smash into the ground beneath you gives a little bit, and you immediately kind of go sideways and come down hard on an elbow and your other knee as you smash down into the ground. You only take 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Easy peasy, that's fine.
But you're able to quickly scramble to your feet. I would say you still got a majority of the rest of your move. The guard is probably about 20 feet to your right. The kobolds are about, I would say, 10 feet to your left. And again, at this point, it looks like there's about 24 of them. They're small, they're scrawny, but there are a lot of them.
This is incredibly dumb. It's fine. It's what Natalie would want. I will use... So I'm guessing that I was prone, use half my movement to get up and I have 20 feet left?
Yeah,
Roughly?
yeah, sure.
Roughly?
Yeah.
I would just like to... Because the guard is the one with the crossbow, right?
Yeah. He dropped his crossbow when he got speared by the other kobold.
Cobalt is 10 feet away. I want to stand in the middle of them and just hold my arms out and just be like, stop!
Okay. Absolutely. You're able to get yourself in between. You go stop. The kobolds, they don't look happy.
Yeah, no. I'm gathering that.
Okay. So that is Natalie. Up next, we've got Aery and Eminence. I'll let the two of you take your turns at the same time.
Aery, you go, because I'm not sure if you're planning on doing anything.
I'm not. I'm gonna pick up a broken bottle and wait for something to attack me because I'm not going to them.
Okay. Awesome. So you're going to pick up a broken bottle and stay on the second floor? Awesome. And Emmy, is there anything you're doing?
Yeah, I believe I was kind of in the motion of climbing out of the window, so...
Yeah. I think you can get down using half your movement.
Yep, cool. Get down. Shazarash was below me, right? So he has also gotten down safely?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, I turn to him. So, can you use a magic right now?
No. You can't feel the thing before the earthquake that I stood up for. That was the weave. It just kind of stopped.
Huh.
And
So
it's
you can't read my mind?
No?
I punch him in the face.
Make an attack roll. With advantage, because he is not expecting this at all.
Okay. 11 and 15.
15. 15 is a hit. Go ahead and roll damage. Or it's 1 plus your strength modifier for an unarmed attack.
Just roll it and do that. It's a 6.
For unarmed, 1 plus your strength modifier. So that's
okay.
1
Sorry.
plus 0 is 1.
Oh, so yeah, 1. Sorry.
You pop him in the face and he... Ow! Why would you do that?
That's for ruining my date.
I thought you enhanced it. The two of you are better connected now, right?
Shut up. And I'll turn back to the kobolds.
So that's your attack action and half of your move. Anything else?
I'll draw my dagger and just
Okay.
kind of prepare.
Awesome. So up next is Niladri. Not to be outdone, she leaps out of the window and fully, oh yeah, 3-point landing, one knee down, the other foot, the other hand catches the ground, stands up, flicks the dirt off, reaches behind her, and she pulls out a single longsword and just sort of lets it drag along the ground behind her as she comes to take up a standing position beside you, Natalie.
She's so
But she's got the
cool.
blade like dragged down behind her. Silence upstairs. Well, I can't do spells. And you can see he starts to quickly scramble down the side of the building, gets down to the bottom by Eminence and Shazarash, and reaches into his cloak and pulls out a small sort of like decorative dagger and holds it with the blade side down. And kind of quietly leans over to you, Eminence. I have no idea how to use this. I do spells.
You kind of just stab with it.
No, I
It's
get
quite-
that. I'm really hoping this whole intimidation thing kind of works.
Yeah, just quietly need.
Up next is the Cobalts. And there are many of them. There are, at this point, around 25 to 30 of them have pulled up out of the sewers. And you can see that they're dirty. They're wearing like loincloths. They've got rusted weapons and implements. Their claws are sharp and broken. Their eyes bright and vague. You can see that they are nocturnal. Their eyes are in that reflective kind of light. When you look out into the dark and you just see like the reflection of the eyes, sort of thing. And because the sun has set, they are dimly illuminated by the remaining streetlights that are still operational. A number of the streetlights have come down, so there are just random patches of darkness here and there on the street, making it very difficult to see. But the kobolds rush forward. They see the two large, bulky figures. One of them in the front kind of, does anyone here speak Draconic?
Yes.
Yes. The one in the front, you hear him say, they killed Fred. And the one next to him, yeah, fucking kill him back. The other one says, I don't know, they've got pretty big weapons. The ones in the back said, kill him back. And you start to hear kill him back echoed by all of the rest of them. Kill him back, kill him back, kill him back, kill him back. The one in the front's like, I think we should. And then they just charge forward as there's just this wave of kobolds that continues to rush forward. And almost immediately, the rest of you are surrounded from all directions. That is going to be a lot of attacks. Niladri will use her held action to take an attack, to use the attack action. Yes. Wow. Okay. So she uses her multi-attack and with the blade quickly swings it up and completely bisects one of the kobolds. And on the backswing, catches another across the chest. The two of them completely split and go down, but the rest of them swarm over. We're going to do a bunch of attacks. Okay. So, yeah, we'll start closest to farthest. So closest is going to be Shazarash. He is very quickly surrounded. One of them hits for 2 damage, and another 2 damage to Shazarash. Awesome. The next pack is going to be attacking Eminence and Silence. So that is 17, 13, and a natural 1.
Okay, so what do you need from me?
Your AC, your armor class.
Yeah, that is a 12, so 2 of them hit.
12. Okay, so that's 2 hit. The next pack is unnatural 20, a 19, and a 14 to hit. So if your AC was 12,
it does.
that's
Yeah,
all
everyone.
of them. So
Yeah.
that was 3 plus how many of the others hit?
5 total.
5. So that's 10 points of damage. So each hit is 2 damage. Awesome. Then some of them are going to attack Silence. And you guys are just quickly and immediately overwhelmed. Silence is actually able to hold his own rather well. Only one of them manages to get through. The bulk of the force collapses on Niladri and Natalie. The two of you are immediately surrounded. That is 18, unnatural 20, 15 for Natalie. You're muted.
All 3 hit.
Okay. Then we've got 12, 10, and 6.
None of those hit. I have 14.
Okay. And then lastly, 15 and 14.
Both of those hit.
Okay.
If you
so
equal
that
armor
is-
class, it hits, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that is 10 slashing damage. Against Niladri. Oh my goodness. That is a lot. Six. Niladri takes 6 hits. However, one of them manages to get a good jab into her with a natural 20 and does double damage. Yeah, and you are now surrounded by screaming, angry, surprisingly smelly kobolds, considering the fact that they live in the sewers.
Makes sense.
Excellent. So that is that. So that now brings us to Shazarash. He is going to attack 1, and he actually misses. Yeah, that's unlucky. That's a bad roll for Shazarash. He's surprised by everything that's going on, and he does not get a chance to do anything. Oriana.
I am still upstairs, so I will
You are.
get down from upstairs. Can I try and land on a kobold?
You absolutely can. I will say it is going to be tight to squeeze down into the massive bodies.
I figured that's kind of why I was going to see. Oh,
Sure.
yeah. Natalie doesn't want to hurt them, but she doesn't know that they're definitely talking about killing all of us. Yeah, I'm just going to attempt to get down there and not squish any of my friends. But if I
Yeah.
have to squish a kobold.
Awesome. So how are you doing this? In your mind's eye, how do you see this happening? Are you jumping out? Are you jumping out trying to land on a kobold? Are you just climbing down and making room for yourself?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump. I'm going to, because I've got my shield, I'm gonna try and like bash them out of the way so that I can make a space for me, and also hopefully damage someone at the same time. A shield doesn't count as a weapon, so I don't actually know if that's gonna, do anything.
Sure. So
But
that can be a contested grapple check
Okay.
to make yourself some room. So why don't you give me a strength athletics check?
yeah, that is a 14 plus nothing.
Okay.
So just a 14.
That's a 13. That's a 15. 15 total. He's got a +2. So as you come down with the shield, you try to push against the kobold. He's not strong enough. Clearly, he doesn't have the physical strength to compete with you. But as he tries to slide on it, quickly 3 more kobolds quickly push up against the shield as well to support, and you find yourself pinned against the wall. As far as movement, you cannot really move from the space you're in. You're at the base of the side of the building, just surrounded by kobolds.
Yeah. Well, that didn't work out particularly well.
Yeah.
I do know what Natalie is like as a person, so I will be like, they're going to kill us if you don't fight. None of this. Stop! It's not gonna work. And that'll be my turn.
Yeah, Niladri swinging her blade, already on it. Awesome. Natalie, you're up. And Aery and Emmy, you're on deck.
I'm pissed. All right.
Yep.
So, obviously, in terms of priorities, my priorities to protect my friends are over protecting that other people around me, and I know they can't cast magic, so they can't protect themselves. So that's going to be the internal struggle in Natalie for all of 0.5 seconds when she decides to rage and then turn an attack.
Absolutely.
She has 3 attacks, so I guess I'll just do one at a time.
Yeah, please.
But first to one around, like one around her.
Oh, I will say, for the sake of ease, these guys are considered minions. They have 1 hit point. If you hit them,
Right.
they die.
Okay. So that's an 18.
18 hits.
So one of them's down. That's well over. That's 24.
Absolutely
And the third
hits.
is a 26.
26. You
27.
bring
Can't
up
do maths.
27. Yeah.
Not that matters.
They come in with their rusty kitchen knives and broken short swords and lashed together spears and pitchforks, and they scratch and slash and stab. You saw what they did to the guard, but then you also saw that they surrounded and attacked your friends. And Natalie, don't fuck with that shit. The great axe comes up and completely cleaves into one of them that just crumples onto the ground. The great axe comes down again, and it's like chopping wood. They just fall in swift strikes as you move from one to the next with another 3.
That don't feel good. I don't like that.
Aery and Emmy, is there anything you would like to do? Aery,
I think I
muted.
am.
That's right, Emma can go.
I think I'm quickly realizing I underestimated Cobalts, and I try to move behind Natalie.
Okay, so you're still up against the side of the building. Natalie is about 10 feet away from you, but that 10 feet is filled with kobolds.
In that case, I guess I start a stabbing.
So, yeah, I think you can make it to Natalie, but it is going to take some strength checks to try to get through the crowd to make room.
I think that's still worth trying to do. I will try to make my way to Natalie and sort of, get there through any means possible.
Okay, give me a strength athletics check. That's cocked.
So a lot of things.
I got an 8 to contest you.
That's a 7 plus nothing.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Eminence,
All these rolls are so close.
Yeah. You see Natalie immediately go into a rage, and you're like, that's the safest place to be. So you start trying to push against the kobolds, and they do the same thing that they did with Oriana. One of them kind of gives way pretty easily, and out of nowhere, 2 more come from behind and immediately start pushing that one back in to hold you in place.
Yes, be near the raging barbarian. It's very safe. Promise.
Somehow the safest place to be.
Yeah. Aery. Unless there's anything else, Eminence, sorry.
I feel like attacking them, like the one that is being pushed into me, is being pushed into me against its will. I kind of feel like if I attack them, I'm just sort of provoking them. So I'm going to refrain from doing that.
Okay.
Is it me?
Aery? Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I want to see if I can figure out why the weave has like faulted.
Okay. Yeah. Make an Arcana check.
18.
18. You do a couple of quick spells and cantrips just to test, just to see. You do different schools of magic, evocation, conjuration. You kind of run through the ones that you know. Illusion. Nothing. It's like dropping a bucket into an empty well. There's just nothing.
Can I like? So I'm trying to see if I can like figure out why, like what caused it.
You've never heard of anything like this happening before. Actually, make a history check for me.
What is history? 12.
God,
12.
oh.
Yeah, you've never heard of anything like this happening before. It's just unheard of that magic just stops working. It's like the same as if today in our world electricity just stopped flowing. Like electrons just stopped moving. It is a fundamental force of existence, and it's not there right now.
Okay. That's all I got. So
yeah,
keep hiding.
Awesome. Okay, Niladri, she is going to start swinging once again. And that's a natural 20. Out of the corner of your eye, Natalie, you see just incredible form with the longsword. So you can see that she's got her left arm held into her body, and with the right arm is just moving and pivoting like a dancer, just maneuvering from one to the next, and in just a swift blur of movement, she cuts down 3 with her attack and her bonus action.
Can I get a date with her? Like, you know.
You can certainly try.
Anyway.
This is Mass Effect. And her face is just totally passive and calm. And even in your rage, you can almost count out her measured breathing with just like smooth, executed. You can only imagine how much time and effort she put into that level of skill. Awesome. That's Niladri. Silence has a dagger. He is going to try to shove an opening towards Natalie. So he's going to strength check. Ooh, it's not very good, but he does succeed. Yeah, he shoves an opening through the crowd of kobolds for you, Eminence. He creates an opening. He saw that you were like trying to get that way, and he like goes up to the kobolds, the 2 of them that are like pushing the one. He goes to the one in the back and just picks it up and throws it out of the way so that you have like an easier path to get around. So that is silence. The kobolds are up. There are still many of them. So far, you have killed 8. There are somewhere around 12.5 still remaining. So they are going to start taking attacks again. First up is Eminence. No. That is 5, 19, and 21.
It's 2 hits.
Okay. That is unnatural 20, 12, and 5.
2 more.
Awesome. So that's 4 hits for 8 damage. The next round of attacks is going towards Silence, and these actually have advantage because he threw himself into the thick of it to open a pathway. That is... Wow, okay. And then that is... Yes. Wow, okay. So Silence actually takes some pretty big damage here. He's hit 8 times. Yes. As they pull out their rusty daggers and they just start slashing the blades. Next round of attacks against Oriana, because you're there as well, pinned against the wall. 5, 9, and 11.
None of those.
Okay. And 15, 10, and 9.
Also none of those.
Okay. Wow. Up next against Niladri. None of those. And one of those. And lastly, Natalie.
So how many kobolds will be in between me and Eminence?
I
Roughly?
would say about 4.
4? Just more I'm thinking I would like to kind of carve my path to get closer to her, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, so I'd like to attack the 3 that are in between, so it just leaves 1 in between us.
Mm-hmm.
If that's possible.
Awesome. You can do that on your turn.
Is it my turn now?
It is not. The kobolds are attacking.
Oh, fuck, I'm an idiot. Okay, ignore me. Sorry,
So
I
that
heard
is-
my name and I was
you're
like, yes,
totally
it's
fine.
my turn. I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot.
I like that you've got the plan ready.
Sorry.
That is an 11 to hit, a 13 to hit, and a 17 to hit.
One of those hits.
Okay, and the next set is a 15, 5, and 9.
One of those hits. Had to think about that. Don't know why I had to think so hard then.
That's 2 hits total for 4 damage, but you're raging. You're raving, so it's halved to 2.
I could be raving
You've got
mad.
a glow
That's...
stick.
That's actually what my battle axe is. It's like imbued into the like fucking like handle of it. It's just like do, do, do.
Awesome. Yes, that's that. Up next is Shazarash. He's gonna stabba. And you can see that he sort of spins the blade a little bit in his hand and just lashes his hand quickly in and out. And one of the kobolds just kind of falls over dead on the ground. But that brings us to Oriana. Natalie, you're on deck.
I'm tempted to attempt magic, but I've seen other people try and do it, so I'm not gonna bother. I'm gonna get my mace and I'm gonna do a bonk on
Do a bonk.
anyone, since I'm being pinned by I think 3, so
Absolutely. Yeah,
any of
yeah.
them. 13 plus 3, that's easy math. 16.
Absolutely, that hits. You
Oh.
raise the mace and crash it down onto the shoulder of one, and it crumples to the ground.
I think I just have the 1 attack, so that's what I'm doing. Technically I can make another attack, but I'd have to use a divinity point, and I can't be bothered at this point in time because I don't know if it'll work.
Okay.
Actually, no. I want to know if that will work. If I waste it, I waste it. I would like to use the Hello Lily Warcaster thing to be able to make another attack.
Sure. Let me see. What is that under? War Priest?
Let me figure it
When you
out.
use the
I
attack
can't
action,
remember. Yeah.
when you use the attack action, you can make one weapon attack as a bonus action.
Oh wait, no, that's just the thing. I'm
You just
thinking
do
of the
that.
thing where I can use my reaction to cast a spell instead, so I can just hit him again. Never mind.
Yeah.
15 plus 3 again.
Yeah, and another one crumples down next to the first. You now can sort of get around the pack of kobolds a little bit if you want to. You can skirt around the side of the building to get around behind Natalie and Niladri.
That's a good plan.
Awesome. You will invoke 2 opportunity attacks by the squares.
I will probably be fine.
Okay. That is 16 to hit
Nope.
and 19 to hit.
Nope.
Really? 19 doesn't hit?
20. Even without Shield of Faith, which I usually cast, which brings me up to 22, my armor class is 20.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the blade just bounces off of your armor, puts a pretty big scratch into it, but no damage. You just buffed that armor.
Rude.
Rude.
Shazrak better not say anything about that.
Shazarash actually, at this point at the end of the round, wait, it's coming back. It's coming back. And you can see that the rest of you, maybe not so much Natalie, it's like a breath of cold air. You suddenly find yourself somewhat revitalized, and it would be so imperceptible if it weren't absent before, but something is different. Natalie, you're up. Aery and Emmy, you're on deck.
Well, you know my plan. I would like to get closer to Eminence by attacking the three in front.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Go for it.
First up is a 10.
Okay.
Second
10
is
total?
an 11. Third is a 21.
21. So I'm afraid only the 21 hits.
Rip. I will point out that after the first two hit and I hit the third one, I will say to Niladri, just like Shang in fucking Mulan, you fight good. But like as I've just like fumbled like twice and then hit.
Just swing. The cobalt next to you is like, ah.
Yeah. But yeah,
Niladri like just finishes like a pirouette, like blade up. There's even like a little bit of blood like flicked up across the sky, and she just kind of glances and looks at you and thanks.
not even a U2 round rip. But anyway,
she saw what just happened. She sees the kobold that's standing there going, ah.
Not even out of politeness, just like, nah, not acknowledging that. Anyway, but yeah, she'll try and get as close as she can, but obviously that's probably only like 5 feet closer.
Yeah, so you did get one kobold that round.
So there's only 3 in between us. It's fine.
But Oriana has sort of rotated around behind you. Aery and Emmy, you are up.
I would like to. I'm assuming that if I noticed that tingly stuff coming back, I'm going to try to cast Eldritch Blast.
Okay. What level?
That's a cantrip for me.
Cantrip. Great. Go ahead and make an attack roll. I believe it's at disadvantage because you are casting a ranged attack in melee range.
Yeah, that is an 8.
Reach behind me and grab my book. Yes. So ranged spell attack with disadvantage.
Damn. Okay, well then that is an 8 to hit.
8 to hit. You start to feel the magic come back, and you immediately pull your arm back to fire off this eldritch bolt. But as you do, the kobold sort of jostling around cause your arm to pivot, and the bolt sparks off and crashes into the building on the opposite side of the street.
Back to fucking up fighting. It's at her best. Yeah, in that case, I'm going to try to move towards Natalie in that space that has been created.
Absolutely. So you can get 5 feet over. You're not as surrounded, but there's still a pretty large pack around you. Aery, you are up.
I would like to cast Lightning Bolt.
Okay, at what level?
I guess I don't need to cast it. So, just at third.
Okay.
But I just want to check how it will work because it's a line.
Yes.
I obviously don't want to hit my friends.
Okay. So you are upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say shooting it down at an angle, you could hit 2 at best.
It's a 100-foot long.
Yes, so you're at an angle. So you're like this, so the bolt is going to come in diagonally.
But aren't they filling the square?
They are, but they're 5-foot increments, basically.
Can I shoot it like not where my friends are, but like at more like a straighter angle? So instead of shooting down to try and hit the ones near them, like shoot
it
out
comes from
to
you.
try and go through, like more like through the square.
Yes, so you can absolutely do that. So I think the best way for you to hit multiple Cobalts would be to climb down and get level with them, because then you could draw a line and go through all of them. Again, at best, because you're 15 feet up with the angle that you're shooting from, you can get one, probably two at an angle. If you tried to shoot across the square, you could get two at a different angle, but further across the square are the ones by Niladri and Natalie, which has already been thinned out significantly.
Okay, well then in that case I will cast Firebolt instead.
Firebolt.
At I don't know, whichever one is near Emmy, because she'll probably die first.
There are several
that's
near Emmy.
17.
17 hits. You don't even need to roll damage. The blast of fire crashes down from above. One of the Cobalts kind of screams out as he goes down. Yeah, working through the numbers. You've killed 11 so far.
Nice.
Anything else?
No, that is all. I'm staying up here.
Excellent. Niladri, seeing your attempt at clearing a path towards the allies, Niladri will attempt to do the same. That is 2. With the blade still up, she quickly twists and cuts one across the chest, brings the blade forward and cuts another like right through the abdomen and thigh. And then with the last one, shoulder bashes into it to push it out of the way, creating an opening for the people by the wall to get over by the rest of you. And she can also sort of create an opening for you, Natalie, to get over to the rest of the party, if you would be so inclined. But that is 2 that she has defeated and 1 that she is knocked prone. Okay, that is Silence. Silence, seeing the firebolt, is going to look at you, Eminence, and see the rest of the magic, and holding the one that he is currently holding, he's going to cast Shocking Grasp. And is that spell attack or is that save? Load slower. There we go. Melee spell attack. Great. It's not great. It's a 6. He's got the one in his hands that he's sort of grappling to hold out of the way. He sets it down, pulls his hands back as he's ready for the lightning, and then immediately another one from the side just stabs him in the shoulder, and he kind of as the lightning just dissipates from his arms. Completely caught by surprise. That is Silence's turn. The Cobalts are up. They're gonna make attacks. Silence is still pretty effectively surrounded, so they're gonna finish him off, and I'm gonna throw my dice. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 of them hit. Silence is not doing great. He's taking a couple of hits. Up next is Eminence. You are not surrounded as much as you were, but that is a 12, unnatural 20, and a 16 against Eminence. You are muted.
Sorry, my bad. They will hit.
Oof. Ouch. And then lastly,
Oof,
2
indeed.
more for 12 and a natural 1.
Okay, so it's only 4 hits.
4 hits, so it's 8 slashing damage.
Ouchie.
And Oriana, you got around, so there's actually only one next to you, Oriana. That is an unnatural 20. That one hits? I think you're muted.
I was like, was I muted? And I couldn't figure it out because my light like flashes. Yes, that will hit.
Oof. Okay, so that's 2 points of slashing damage.
Ooh.
Against Natalie, there are not as many because y'all have been doing work over there. 19, 19, 16.
Try me. That's all 3.
And a natural 1. So it's 6 damage halved down to 3.
I still have a lot of health left. I'm sorry.
And against Niladri, that is 3 hit. Niladri has taken some hits. You see that as Niladri is just continuing to maneuver her way through the crowd of kobolds, she's starting to rack up some damage. Her outfit is getting cut and scored in places. Shazarash. He slays 1 kobold. And lastly, Oriana, you are up.
How many are left?
About half.
How many would I be able to get in a 15-foot cone of fire without hitting any of my friends? Like, if I have to move a little bit to get around people, I don't mind.
Probably about 6, I would say.
Cool.
'Cause you
Without
get
hitting
1,
any of
2,
my friends or
3.
allied people, including fucking Shazrak, I would like to do that, and I will cast Burning Hands
Okay.
once I'm in a not squish people position. It's a dex
Absolutely.
save.
So in order to get into a good position, you will have to take an opportunity attack from the one that just slash.
That's okay.
Natural 1.
That's very okay.
It slashed you with the dagger. I was like, ha ha, and then it sees your hand starts to flame as you get ready for the attack, and it kind of just kind of throws the dagger at your chest, and it ping bounces off the armor.
Aww. Poor baby.
In common, you hear it say, uh-oh. Spell attack or wisdom save?
A dex save.
Dex save. Okay. Fail. Success. What's the DC?
14.
14. 2 successes. 3 successes. Fail. Success. Okay. So that is
10 damage
4
on a fail, 5 on a success.
Well, they all have 1 hit point, so they fail no matter what.
Yep.
And this great gout of flame erupts outward, and very quickly the tide of the battle shifts as there's yelling and screaming from the rest. In Draconic, you hear, "Shit, they've got magic! Run! Run!" from a whole bunch of different voices all at once. But that's in Draconic. Natalie, you are up.
Just gonna attack the ones that are near my friends. Raging Natalie is much more excited about that. Pyros is not so excited about that. So yeah, any that are near like Eminence or Oriana I feel is very healthy, but anyone who would need Niladri, because she's taking quite a bit of damage at this point.
Yeah. So Niladri, she's deliberately putting herself like in the middle of the pack every time she moves through. So she is always surrounded, but you can pretty easily get your way to her and basically try to back her up.
Yep, easy. All right. Oh, it's a 7. Oh, that's okay. I was looking at it, I'm like, is that a 1? But no, it has a thing on the top. Which makes it 14. And then that's
14 hits.
5, so that's a 12. Fucking natural 2. Hits. Are you for real? See, I told you, it was all those 20s. And now I'm cursed. Natural 2 is 9, so...
Excellent. So you do still manage to kill 2.
I just realized this entire time that I could have been doing Reckless. It's been that long.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh, can I just roll for the one that didn't hit? Just...
Sure, yeah.
That's a natural 18, so that's fine. I'm a goose. I was like, I know there's something I'm missing here. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been too busy being distracted by Silence almost dying that I forgot I have Hellish Rebuke.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
And I got hit a lot.
You got hit a lot. Oh, boy. Yeah. Well, you slashed through 3. Finally, you're like, you know what? I'm going to stop trying to look good and just kill them.
Fair.
And as you do, your axe just gains renewed vigor as it slashes through, carving through another 3 kobolds. and they collapse down to the ground. Aery and Eminence, there are 5 kobolds remaining after the gout of fire that just erupted from Oriana.
Are any of them actively attacking myself or Silence, or are they running?
They started barking something in a language that you didn't recognize, and then they all started looking back towards the sewer pipe as if they were going to run away.
In that case, I'm just gonna hold out. If they don't, if they start moving away, I am not going to engage. I'm just gonna let them go.
Okay, and you're holding your action for if they attack you, you attack back, sort of thing?
Yeah, look, I will. Yeah, if they attack me, I will stab whoever comes near me.
Okay, and Aery?
I will pretty much do the same, except
Okay.
I'll hold like a firebolt in case anyone attacks Emmy.
Uh-huh. Excellent. Niladri, she still sees you going hard, Natalie.
I don't have good insight. I am a silly lass.
Yeah, she did the move where she like slashed one and then shoulder butted the other that like fell down, and she kind of holds that forward position for a moment and looks, and you can see that she observes the rest of the fight around her, before she finally steps back fully upright and raises the blade and points it out in front of her at the kobold, and doesn't swing, doesn't say anything, but just points it at the kobold. The kobold immediately just starts scrambling backwards to get away. Silence has been stabbed. Is he gonna see the situation? He does not. The one that kind of stabbed him from behind, Silence is going to sort of whirl around in pain and try to shocking grasp again. And he does not succeed. He reaches out with the static in his hands once again, and the kobold just quickly ducks under his arms. He cries out in frustration. But it is now the kobold's turn. There are about 5 remaining. They are all going to use their action to disengage and run back towards the sewers. Does anyone have anything they would like to do?
I'm going to assume that, yeah, they're scrambling away.
Yeah.
So, no.
They barking and screaming the whole time. In Draconic, you can hear be like, fuck, they got magic. They didn't have magic. What do you mean they didn't have magic? They didn't have magic.
If any have to if any have to push directly past Oriana, I will bop them.
Yeah, most of them have already disengaged as they made their way through the rest of combat.
Yeah.
They weren't trying full on panic survival. Yeah, and within the span of a few seconds, they disappear back down into the darkness of the sewer, leaving the rest of you alone out on the street.
Who's looking fucked up?
Niladri and Silence took a lot of damage. You can see Silence is pretty ragged. He seems pretty shaken by this fight. Niladri has many wounds, actually a few more wounds than Silence, but she seems... Somehow you get the sense that she's seen worse in terms of like this damage.
I will bop both of them with a healing word, and the next, it will be a thing that I will do later on, depending on what everybody decides to do. But for now, they both get. Well, that's not true. They don't both get, because it's different things. One gets. I'll do Silence first since he looks the worst. At second level, he will get 7 HP.
Okay.
And oops, I just threw my D4 on the ground. I have another one. It's fine. 3. I threw that one on the ground. Okay. 3 plus 3.
7 6.
So Niladri will get 8 healing points.
Oh, okay,
HP back.
Nice. Nice.
And I'm going to have to find those D4 before I
Step on them.
get up.
Poor puppy.
Oh no.
I've got a D20 that I dropped earlier that's out of range of my headphone cable, so it's gone for now. Yeah, Silence is a little shaken. He kind of sits down on sort of this broken outcropping of dirt and stone, and as you heal him up a little bit, he still seems just a little bit rattled by all of this. Niladri cleans her blade and she sheathes it on her side.
Look, I'm still a little bit mad at Silence for the whole, oh, I just ran into her at a cafe. But she's going to be like, you don't see much combat, I'm guessing.
No.
You didn't
Shazarad.
do awfully.
Eminence
That's
kind of
almost a
is
compliment.
approaching. Can she overhear this?
There's not a huge amount of conversation. Like, everyone is still pretty shocked and shaken by the previous 60 to 120 seconds where there was an earthquake and then magic stopped working and then Cobalts came out of the sewer. So, yeah.
I'd like to move over and kind of sit down next to Silence and take his hand, but she's got a little bit of a shit-eating smile on her face because Aery was just nice to him.
He does not think he is worthy in any way, but she's not willing to argue with Eminence about this because it will just make it worse.
Amazing.
If
Make her
she's
more
nice
excited.
to him, and like Emmy was only being like, ooh, because, you know, she thought Oriana would be mad, this is a good way for her to make the decision to fuck him right off because, you know, not worthy.
Niladri comes over as well and leans down and kind of pats him on the shoulder. You'll get over it. And
Unstabbed shoulder.
yeah, the unstabbed shoulder. Shazarash, still holding like his small blade, kind of sheathes it. Well, that was something.
Aery will like
Turns-
misty step down to this square, by the way.
Yeah. You vanish and reappear. Magic. So you didn't. None of you felt that before the earthquake in the beginning.
We didn't, did we?
Are we supposed to?
I mean, maybe it's because I am a different creature of more magical origins, but it was there and then it was gone, and then the earthquake happened, and then it came back.
I hate to ask this because it like involves speaking to you in any way, but do you know why that might have happened?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Great.
Make an investigation check.
Oh, natural 20, so 24.
That's what I love to hear. As you say that, looking at Shazarash, he says, I have no idea. And just, it's hard to look at him because it's just so
hate
easy to
him
be
so
angry at
much.
him. So it's so easy to let your eyes cast off to the side. And as you do, you get like a good view down the street and you can see the earthquake has done some good damage. The ground has been sort of rippled and buckled and broken. The buildings are kind of buckled in. Trees have fallen over. Lampposts have shattered. There's hardly a single pane of glass that hasn't been broken by just the shock wave. And maybe it's just the angle, but there are rings, concentric rings, like ripples in sand. If you drop a stone, you can see the ripples spread outward.
Can I
The
tell where
rings-
that's spreading from?
are pointing in a direction south, originating from the Forest of Statues.
This
And that's
shit
where we're
never
going to go ahead and
ends.
end this session.
It is fucking forest.
Ah! The forest clearly hates the city a lot. They've got some sort of like beef that we don't know about.
For sure.
They just hate each other.
Yeah, look, I'm on the forest side. This city it's got a lot of shit in it.
I hate it. I hate these people.
I love it so much how y'all came to the city and you were like, the city's too perfect. Too nice.
Something is wrong.
Now you're like, something is wrong. There are
Fucking
lizard
werewolves on
people.
the throne, lizards in the sewers.
I will have you know I'm very upset that we had to kill them. They seem like they were just very scared and they just wanted out. All right?
They came out of the hole with knives. They weren't like, oh, we're gonna go have a picnic.
Because they needed to protect themselves. Someone shot at them.
First.
So?
I actually agree. I'm sad that we had to kill them.
I'm sad that we had
But
to
then
kill
we
them as
killed.
well, but it wasn't that they weren't armed or anything like that. They didn't go, oh, he shot us and then magic themselves a knife because there wasn't any magic to do that. I'm highly suspicious about how angry the forest is at this whole city.
I know, right? What did they
Yeah.
do? They, like, did some shit.
It's not just a werewolf king. That's definitely not it. That can't be it. Something else is going on here.
Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully we will be back next week with another session of the Chocolatiers. Why don't we go ahead and talk a little bit about us and where you can find us and all of that. Aery, you're up first in the new overlay.
It's gonna take a lot of getting used to that. Hello, I'm Jimmy your cat. I am an artist, a very, very occasional streamer. If you would like to see my art, like more of what is on stream, you can check me out on Twitter. My commissions are open.
Awesome. Oriana.
Hi, I am Maleficent. I am a streamer and a cosplayer and an idiot. You can find me on Twitter and occasionally on my own channel. I have a podcast with BurrowsRed, and we also play D&D on Tuesdays.
Awesome.
And Fridays. I play on Fridays.
And Sister Eminence.
Oh, I just hit my own headphones
saw
trying
that.
to wave.
Whoopah!
Yeah, I'm Nicole. I exist here and only here. I'm more of a concept than a person, and when this stream shuts off, I cease to be. Yeah, I don't do other things on the internet, so you will see me here when you see me here.
Schrodinger's tiefling.
Our favorite concept.
And Natalie, how you doing?
Whoa, yo, how you doing? I'm BurrowsRed. I play Natalie. I exist on the internet not just as a concept, but also as a constant annoyance to you Mondays and Wednesdays on my own Twitch channel, where I constantly tell you all to eat, drink, and then proceed not to do those things myself. On Tuesdays and also Sundays, I play D&D here. I also have a YouTube channel where I do bullet journaling content for D&D. Then I also have an Etsy store, and I'm also fucking doing Artist Alley. And honestly, I could keep going, but you've all tuned out now. It's okay. Just, if you want to see me, look me up.
Link down below.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I am D. I am the Dungeon Master. I play music and do Dungeons and Dragons here, and that's about it. If you want to find more, link to my Twitter is down in the doobly-doo. Did you know that doobly-doo is actually the technical term for description? If you start a YouTube page in their like onboarding video series, it says to refer to the description as a doobly-doo.
Are
Wasn't that
you
started
certain
by the
they're not
Green
lying?
Brothers?
Am I certain? I mean, I haven't looked it up myself, but I can check it out.
I feel like that was started by Hank Green, John Green, one of them, both of them.
Doobly-doo is a term YouTubers use for the description text beneath a video that provides information such as blah, 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 blah. Why are
I
we
hate
talking
the
about this?
dictionary.com actually says it's a word.
I know. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Not important.
So
What we fall
compelling.
down that hole?
So compelling television. Natalie, do we have our raid ready to go?
We do, and I feel like it's very thematic because I feel like at some point we talked about the fact that both of the meetings with Silence and Eminence seemed like two parents speaking to a child and talking about how disappointed they were. We're going to go and see the Disappointment Crew. So, you know, I feel like that works. It's all tying in together.
Had to reach a little bit to get there, but I like it. It worked.
It's not that much of a reach. I just have a very silly brain. But yeah, we're gonna go say hey.
Awesome. Well, wonderful. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.
Hey.
Goodbye.
Oh,
Oh.
since we were talking about YouTube, we could have said you can find all our old episodes on our YouTube.
Yeah! Exclamation mark YouTube, and you can get there. We have plenty of time. You can just say that. It's okay.
Well, you know, sometimes we go on a like ending soon screen.
Not yet, not yet.
So that we don't end up waving for 15 minutes.
Also, Discord, if you want to see Thursday D&D questions, where Mel thinks of really cool stuff. Just keep...
Links, we're still waiting. Goodbye.
Bye!
Thanks.